In the Douluo world, I starred bound to the traveling frog. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51 The Real Gold Diamond Mammoth. I don't need it, Huang said without thinking. Don't be so confident. Huang got it for you with great difficulty. Your health problems all depend on this thing. Seeing Huang's resolute attitude, Huang laughed at him. Fuck, Huang, you are so young and you can't do anything. Are you the legendary impotence? As soon as Huang finished speaking, Tang San shouted directly, fuck you. You are impotent. Your whole family is impotent. This is a question related to a man's dignity. Huang dare not compromise at all. There is also Huang next to him. If this word gets out, how can he find a girlfriend in the academy in the future? When Huang heard what Tang San said, he was furious. Then why did the teacher say that this can cure your disease? How should I know? Huang retorted angrily. Teacher, please explain it to them and clear my name. Seeing Tang San and the others grinning, Huang became anxious. Tang San, this whale glue is not for treating Huang's problems, but for treating his martial soul. Treat martial soul? Disciple does not understand what you mean. This thing, combined with some other herbs, can make your martial soul evolve into an adult golden diamond mammoth. Teacher, is this true? Excited, Huang went straight forward and grabbed Huang's clothes. Others did not know, but Huang knew very well in his heart that his martial soul, the golden diamond mammoth, had not evolved completely. This also caused him to need to pay double the soul power every time he used his soul skills to exert the normal power of his soul skills. He dreamed that his martial soul would be the same as an adult golden diamond mammoth. Now Huang actually told him that he could solve this problem. How could Huang not be excited? Teacher, please tell me what to do quickly. Huang asked Huang expectantly, and he was already a little impatient. Why are you so anxious, kid? This is no small matter. We still need to do some preparations. Then teacher, see if there is anything we can do to help. Tang San and others surrounded Huang and volunteered to ask. Although they usually played around, they immediately widened their eyes when it came to serious matters. This was related to the future of their good brother, so they had no choice but to take it seriously. Tang San, go home now and help me find some herbs. Huang wrote down the names of some herbs and gave them to Tang San. After all, the old man of Tang San's family was the second worshipper of the spirit hall, so it would not be difficult to find these herbs. Don't worry, teacher, I will be back soon. After Tang San left, Huang continued to arrange the tasks for others. Zuzan and Putin, you two take the approval note I wrote. Go to the logistics department to find 2 large buckets, and then fill them with ice water and move them here. Teacher, we will go over to help. Huang, don't go out yet. Huang still needs you to restore his soul power. Huang stopped Huang and Huang who were about to go out. It was indeed easy to get things done with someone in the court. Not long after, Zuzan and Putin brought 2 large buckets of ice water mixed with large pieces of ice. Tang San came back with the herbs Huang needed. Looking at Tang San's panting appearance, it was obvious that there was no delay along the way. When everyone came back, Huang directly locked the door of the gravity room. This was not a small matter. He didn't want his students to be disturbed at all. No matter what happens later, don't make loud noises. Huang solemnly warned everyone again, and then used his soul power to refine the whale glue. To refine this whale glue, a fire-type soul master is the most suitable. The man is innocent. The one who holds the treasure is guilty. In order to prevent the powerful effect of the whale glue from being spread by others, Huang could only use his soul power to slowly melt it. Fortunately, only the size of a soybean is needed. If more is used, Huang's soul power really can't support it. After an incense stick of time, a corner of the whale glue showed signs of melting and slowly softened. Huang carefully used his soul power to cut off a piece the size of a soybean and then melted it. Gradually, the whale glue became softer and softer, and a slightly sweet fragrance emanated from it. As the fragrance became stronger and stronger, everyone couldn't help swallowing their saliva. After a while, the soybean-sized whale glue had become as smooth as jelly. While the whale glue had not solidified again, Yang Wushwang hurriedly stuffed it into Hu Yanzhen's mouth. "Hurry up and practice martial arts." Hearing Yang Wushwang's hurried words, Hu Yanzhen didn't dare to hesitate at all, and hurriedly summoned his martial arts spirit, the golden diamond mammoth, and jumped into the cold ice water to practice. The moment Hu Yanzhen jumped into the water, Yi Huang's first soul skill also fell on his head. As soon as he jumped into the ice water, Hu Yanzhen's body shivered directly, because the water was too cold. But not long after, he felt a heat rising from his stomach, quickly circulating to every corner of his body, removing the cold that had just entered his body. Such a comfortable day did not last long. Hu Yanzhen felt that his body temperature was getting higher and higher. Even if his whole body was soaked in ice water, he did not feel the slightest bit of coolness. Only when Zhu Xin and others added ice to the bucket could Hu Yanzhen feel the few coolness. There were streams of boiling hot air spurting out of his nostrils. His skin gradually turned red, and the whole person was like a cooked prawn. At first, Hu Yanzhen gritted his teeth and persisted, but as his body temperature rose, he could no longer bear the scorching heat from the inside out. At the beginning, he groaned in pain, and then turned into a heart-wrenching wail. Seeing this, Yang Wushwang hurriedly threw the ground herbs into the wooden barrel under him, and the water temperature in the barrel slowly dropped, and a thin layer of ice formed in a short while. But this was only temporary, and this thin ice could not eliminate the anger in Hu Yanzhen's body. Slowly, a strong heat rose around Hu Yanzhen, and even people 2 meters away could feel it. Just when Hu Yanzhen was about to collapse and fall into a coma, the martial spirit gold diamond mammoth behind him began to change visibly. The entire body of the gold diamond mammoth slowly expanded to 3 times its original size, and the hair covering the surface of the body, which was already dry and yellow, gradually became thicker and more shiny. The tusks were several times larger than before, reaching an astonishing length of 3 meters. Chapter 52 Devil's Island. The golden diamond mammoth was now majestic, and even the small tail behind it became thick and powerful, and it was like a small steel whip when it was swung. Roar! A full-bodied elephant roar sounded, and a desolate royal aura unique to the golden diamond mammoth instantly emanated. The others around felt a strong pressure. Success! Looking at the golden diamond mammoth behind Hu Yanzhen, which was twice as big as an adult diamond mammoth, everyone couldn't help but cheer and celebrate. This whale glue is really a good thing. It not only solved Hu Yanzhen's martial soul problem, but also forcibly raised his soul power by 1 level. Looking at the remaining whale glue in Yang Wushwang's hand, everyone's eyes were like hungry wolves that had been hungry for a long time, full of desire. In fact, this thing was too tempting for everyone. They worked hard for a year but couldn't reach level 5. Unexpectedly, Hu Yanzhen ate a soybean-sized whale glue, and his soul power suddenly changed from the last in 1,000 years to the fierce person under Yi Huang. Don't look at me. This thing belongs to Yi Huang. If you want it, go and discuss it with him. Yang Wushwang threw the remaining whale glue to Yi Huang and turned to walk out. Seeing Yang Wushwang walk out of the door, everyone surrounded Yi Huang. Old 4, you've worked hard all the way. Let me massage your legs. 4th brother, let me massage your shoulders. Old 4, I don't want to work hard anymore. Please give me a piece of whale glue. The 3 people massaged shoulders and backs, and played the emotional card, showing their dog-licking nature to the fullest. There was no way. They really couldn't resist the temptation of whale glue. Yi Huang certainly wouldn't be stingy, and directly asked Tanshan to find a fire spirit master to melt the whale glue, and everyone got a small piece. This small piece was enough for them to use. After all, this whale glue was only effective the first time it was eaten, and it only had aphrodisiac effects afterwards. When Huliana left, Yi Huang also took out a piece for her to take to Ziyu. Of course, I won't forget my brother-in-law if there is a benefit. Life fell into peace again. In the following 2 years, in addition to daily training, Yi Huang spent more time traveling between the 2 empires with Ziyu and others. frantically hunting down those evil soul masters who harmed the people. Following the others to hunt down evil soul masters, Huang and Huliina had very little time to return to the villa. After finally having some free time, Huang and Huliina agreed to return to the villa together and have a meal with Bibi Dong. When the two arrived at the villa, they found that Bibi Dong had returned and was sitting on the sofa in the villa, with a frown on her face and her eyes staring blankly ahead, wondering what she was thinking about. Bibi Dong was so absorbed in thinking about the problem that she didn't even notice Huang and Huliina entering the room. "Master Sister, we are back." Huang and Huliina walked up to Bibi Dong and greeted her. "You are back." Hearing Huang's words, Bibi Dong also came back to her senses. "How was it going this time?" "Yeah, it was pretty smooth." "Master Sister, did you encounter any difficulties?" Huang obviously noticed that Bibi Dong was in a bad mood, and he was worried, so he asked hurriedly. After all, Huang was a soul traveler, and he was more familiar with some things that would happen in the future. He might be able to think of a solution to the problem that Bibi Dong encountered. "The Elder Hall responded to my proposal to designate you as the Holy Son." "Master Sister, what did the Elder Hall say? Did they agree to designate Brother Huang as the Holy Son?" Huliina couldn't wait to ask before Bibi Dong finished speaking. After all, she is now Bibi Dong's designated saint of the Spirit Hall. The Spirit Hall has a clear rule that a saint can only marry a saint's son in her lifetime. This is related to her future happy life, so she can't help but be nervous. "The elders of the Spirit Hall did not directly reject my proposal." "Yeah, that's great." Huliina jumped up with joy. "Nana, don't be too happy too soon." Although the Elder Hall did not directly reject it, it also put forward an extremely strict condition. Only if Huang meets this condition will they agree to appoint Huang as the Holy Son of the Spirit Hall. Bibi Dong said in a low voice. Although she was the Pope of the Spirit Hall, she was controlled by the Elder Hall in every way, and she was very helpless in her heart. In fact, how could she not understand the thoughts of the Elder Hall? She was just a puppet in the hands of Qian Daliu. Sooner or later, the Spirit Hall would be handed over to her daughter Qian Renxu. The Elder Hall did this just to plan ahead and choose a son-in-law for the Qian family. Bibi Dong had thought about resisting, but the one in the Elder Hall was not someone she could compete with now, and she had to accept this reality helplessly. "What conditions need to be met?" Huang asked curiously. After all, it was related to the happiness of himself and Huliina in the second half of their lives, so he certainly cared about it. "They require you to go through Devil Island alone and kill 100 evil soul masters on the island before your 9th birthday. These elders are crazy. This is an impossible task." Huliina jumped up as soon as Bibi Dong finished speaking. She knew very well how terrible this Devil Island was. Devil Island was an artificial island built by the Spirit Hall at great expense. This island was where evil soul masters were imprisoned and where the outstanding students of the Spirit Hall were tested. The test on the island was extremely cruel. As long as you land on the island, only one of the two parties can return safely. The students who landed on the island either killed all the evil soul masters and left alive, or they were killed by the evil soul masters on the island and became their food. As long as someone landed on the island, these vicious evil soul masters would do everything they could to kill the outstanding students who landed on Devil Island. Only in this way could they survive until the next wave of outstanding students landed on the island for the test. Although most of the evil soul masters imprisoned on the island had low soul power and were generally great soul masters, they were outnumbered. When Huliina and other members of the Spirit Hall's Golden Generation entered the Devil Island, they did so as a group. Even so, they suffered heavy casualties, and only a handful of people were able to survive and walk out of the Devil Island. If it weren't for the desperate protection of Ziyu and Yen, Huliina would have died there. Now it's only 10 days away from Huang's 9th birthday. It's not that easy to find all the evil soul masters on the vast island and kill them. Moreover, a small number of these evil soul masters have been promoted to soul master by chance. It's even more difficult to kill so many evil soul masters in just 1 month. Chapter 53 The Third Soul Ring. Master Sister, I agree with the request of the Elder Hall. I disagree. At this time, Huliina's eyes were already full of tears. and she looked at Yi Huang stubbornly. "Little sister, I can do it." "I disagree." Seeing that Yi Huang wanted to persuade her, Huliina repeated her position again, knowing that it was a situation of death. How could she bear to let Yi Huang take this risk? "Little sister, do you think I would do something that I am not sure of? With my strong strength, this is not an impossible task. Of course I know how powerful you are, but you are a great soul master. It's better to encounter a lone soul master. If there are multiple soul masters gathered together, I'm worried." Although Huliina knew that Yi Huang was much stronger than ordinary soul masters, she was still very worried about his safety. "Silly sister, I'm not a great soul master now. I have reached level 30. As long as I hunt one more soul ring, I will be a soul master." Yi Huang came over and gently helped Huliina wipe away the tears from the corners of her eyes. "What?" "Say it again." "I said I'm already level 30. This." Yi Huang's cultivation speed was too fast. He had already reached level 10 in less than 2 years. Bibi Dong and Huliina were petrified when they heard Yi Huang's words. A 9-year-old soul master was something they had never heard of or seen before. This was also the reason why Yi Huang dared to agree to the trial. With his soul master's cultivation, as long as he was careful, it would not be difficult to hunt down these evil soul masters with weak foundations. "Master sister, just let me go." "Do you really want to go?" "You have to think about it. This is a life or death situation." Bibi Dong confirmed with Yi Huang again. "I'll go. I think I can marry my little sister openly in the future." Yi Huang put his arm around Huliina's shoulders and said affectionately, "Okay, since you are so courageous, I will fulfill your wish." Seeing that Yi Huang had made up his mind, Bibi Dong stopped trying to persuade him. "I will let Yu Guan take you to hunt the third soul ring now." The only thing she could do now was to help Yi Huang obtain the third soul ring as soon as possible, so that he would have more means to save his life when entering the Devil Island. Since the matter had been decided, Bibi Dong did not delay any longer and directly asked Yu Guan to drive the carriage, taking Yi Huang and Huliina to the soul hunting forest not far from Wuhan City. The scouts here had already found the soul beasts needed for Yi Huang several months ago. Along the way, Huliina snuggled up to Yi Huang tightly without saying a word. After half a day of high-speed driving, the carriage arrived at the soul hunting forest where Yi Huang obtained his first soul skill. As soon as the two got off the carriage, the scouts who had been waiting there hurriedly took Yu Guan and others to the predetermined target. In order to keep up with the pace of the flying scout, Yu Guan took Yi Huang and Huliina to fly inside. The group soon landed beside a pond in the forest, where a fat frog weighing about half a ton was swallowing a thick python. This was Yi Huang's goal, the soul-devouring frog. Time was running out, and Yu Guan didn't care about letting Yi Huang practice. He went up and beat the soul-devouring frog half to death, grabbed one of its legs and threw it in front of Yi Huang. "Huanger, this is a 5,000-year-old soul-devouring frog, which is the most suitable for your third soul ring. Kill it quickly." "Yes, master." As soon as the voice fell, Yi Huang had a strange black scimitar in his hand. This scimitar was found by Yi Huang from an evil soul master he killed. No one knew what material it was made of. Even in the bright sun, it would not reflect light. What was even more strange was that this scimitar was extremely bloodthirsty. Every time the blood stains on the blade's surface did not need Yi Huang to wipe it off, it would be quickly absorbed. Yi Huang walked in front of the soul-devouring frog and stabbed forward with his right hand holding the handle. With a click, the sharp scimitar broke through the soul-devouring frog's crown and inserted into its forehead. Not long after, a bright purple soul ring slowly appeared above the soul-devouring frog's head. Yi Huang's physical recovery ability was so strong that even the 5,000-year-old soul-devouring frog did not cause him any trouble. In just 1 hour, he absorbed the soul ring. With the soul ring entering his body, Yi Huang's soul power also easily broke through the 33rd level, which is also the benefit of leapfrogging. The greater the risk, the greater the benefit. The soul skill with this soul ring is also extremely powerful and can ignore the opponent's soul power level. As long as it is hit, it can instantly absorb 30% of the opponent's soul power to replenish itself. Ignoring the soul power level is too awesome. If this soul skill is applied to a soul master with higher soul power than Yi Huang, his lost soul power may be replenished in an instant. Since Yi Huang has absorbed the soul ring, Yu Guan did not waste any more time. He took Yi Huang and Huliina out of the soul hunting forest and drove the carriage to Devil Island. As the vehicle drove, Huliina's heart began to get nervous. Looking at the lover in front of her, Huliina gritted her teeth and made a particularly bold decision. He pushed Yi Huang down in the carriage and sat on his body. While Yi Huang was stunned, Huliina's clothes fell off and fell on the corner of the carriage. What appeared in front of Yi Huang was Huliina's skin as white as jade and the trembling's dazzling headlights. "Brother Yi Huang, you should take me now. Anyway, I will marry you in this life. If you are really gone this time, I can also leave a legacy for the Yi family." Huliina looked at the lover in front of her without any shyness and boldly said what she thought in her heart. "Silly senior sister, I promise to come back safely." Yi Huang gently scratched Huliina's nose. Looking at Huliina's fair skin, he didn't have any evil thoughts at this time. He stood up and picked up the clothes that Huliina threw aside, and helped Huliina put them on carefully. He hugged her tightly in his arms, quietly enjoying the warm moment that belonged to the two of them. After an unknown amount of time, the carriage gradually stopped moving forward. Yu Guan's voice could also be heard from outside the carriage. "Huanger, we have arrived at Devil's Island. Get off the car." "Master, I will be there soon," Yi Huang promised Yu Guan, released Huliina from his arms, and kissed her gently on the forehead. "Senior sister, wait for me to come back." He turned around and got off the carriage. In front of Yi Huang appeared a mountain surrounded by bottomless valleys. Two thick iron chains, covered with thick wooden boards, connected the mountain in the middle and the cliff where Yi Huang was. This was the only way to enter Devil's Island. Chapter 54. The killing begins. A large number of powerful soul guides are ranged in the valleys around Demon Island. As long as the soul masters below the Soul King, even the flying soul masters, when their bodies appear in the valley, their soul power will be disturbed by the soul guides, making it impossible for them to fly across the valley and escape from Demon Island. Next to the only passage leading to Demon Island, Yu Guan was talking to an old man with white hair and vigorous spirit. Yu Guan's attitude was very humble, and it was obvious that he was extremely respectful to the old man in front of him. "Huanger, come and meet Senior Golden Crocodile." Seeing Yi Huang get off the carriage, Yu Guan waved to him hurriedly. "Golden Crocodile Luo." Hearing Yu Guan's words, Yi Huang was also shocked. He didn't expect that for his own assessment. The Elder Hall actually asked the big boss Golden Crocodile Luo to come and take charge. This Golden Crocodile Luo is not an ordinary titled Buo. He is the oldest super Buo in the entire Wuhan Hall. Even the great priest Qian Daliu has to show courtesy to him. More importantly, he is also the grandfather of Yi Huang's good friend Tanshan. Junior greets Senior Golden Crocodile. Yi Huang hurriedly stepped forward and respectfully performed a junior salute. "Hurry up, Chenner often mentions you in front of me. Today, I see that you are indeed a hero in your youth." Seeing Yi Huang's neither humble nor arrogant appearance, Golden Crocodile Duo showed an admiring expression on his face. He hurriedly helped Yi Huang up, who was saluting. "You are Chenner's good brother, and you are also my grandson. I have been ordered to be in charge of this assessment. I can't watch my grandson fall here. This is a signal flare. As long as you shoot it out when your life is in danger, I will help you save your life. But you also have to understand that when I take action, it means that you have failed this Saint Son assessment." Golden Crocodile Luo directly pointed out the serious relationship. "Why don't you hurry up and thank the senior? This is a great gift from heaven." Yu Guan's face showed joy. Golden Crocodile Luo is a man who has dedicated his entire life to the Spirit Hall and is even more upright. Being able to spare Yi Huang's life was already a big exception. In fact, Yi Huang knew in his heart that Golden Crocodile Luo was just repaying Tanshan's favor. People who have lived to their age are not limited to favors, but more focused on the word profit. Although this is the case, Yi Huang is still very grateful. At least as a member of the Elder Hall, he did not add insult to injury. "Thank you for your gift, senior. I will go in now." Yi Huang respectfully took the flare from Golden Crocodile Luo's hand, solemnly put it into the soul guide, saluted Golden Crocodile Luo and Yu Guan again, and turned to walk towards the single plank bridge. "Brother Yi Huang, I'm waiting for you to come back and marry me." Hearing Huliina's shout from behind, Huang paused, stretched out his right hand and waved it as a response to Huliena's words, and his body rose and fell a few times and disappeared from everyone's sight. After entering the Devil Island, Huang did not rush to the central area to look for the evil soul master, but changed into a camouflage uniform that he had asked someone to make before. Instead, he slowly observed the terrain of the mountain along the side, remembering where he could hide and where he could shoot arrows. When he knew all this by heart, Huang began to grope along a deserted path into the mountain. Not long after, he heard a slight noise coming from the front. Huang's eyes moved and he hurriedly hid his body. 3 figures flew quickly towards Huang's position. "Brothers, you sit here and rest for a while. I'll go over there to relieve myself." An older evil soul master among the 3 gave an order. Hearing the order of the middle-aged evil soul master, the other 2 evil soul masters withdrew their soul power and fell on a large rock not far in front of Huang. "Hey, do you think we can survive this trial? We should be able to." Several soul masters on the mountainside said that only one person will enter the trial this time. "Are the people in the Wuhan Hall so arrogant? One person dares to break into the Devil Island. Do they think we are made of clay? Who cares how many people there are? It's better to let the brothers meet them so that we can also have some meat." "Brother, I haven't tasted the taste of fresh meat for a long time." Huang listened to the conversation between the 2 motionlessly and also obtained a lot of useful information, until he could no longer hear any useful information. His whole body moved to a convenient position for the middle-aged man under the cover of the dense branches next to him. Huang leaned tightly against a big tree, and the muscles of his whole body were tense and ready to attack at any time. When the middle-aged evil soul master passed the big tree beside him, his left hand suddenly stretched out to clamp his throat, and his right hand twisted it. A slight creaking sound was heard, and the man's body leaned softly on Huang. "Boss, what's wrong with you?" Hearing a slight groan, the 2 companions in front asked the middle-aged evil soul master worriedly. "I'm fine, I tripped." Huang spoke with the same accent as the dead middle-aged evil soul master. This was the ventriloquism that Huang had accidentally learned in his previous life, and it came in handy at this time. Hearing the voice of their boss, the 2 evil soul masters let down their guard again. Huang quickly took out the bow, and 2 arrows shot out quickly and nailed the back of the 2 men's heads, sending the 2 guys to the west. For Huang, who had lived in the jungle since childhood, entering this forest was like a dragon returning to the sea and a tiger entering the mountains. After Huang killed the 3 evil soul masters, he quickly took out some white powder from the soul guide and poured it on the 3 bodies. This was the bone-eroding powder given to him by Huang. He only needed to sprinkle a small amount of powder on the wound, and in a short while, the 3 bodies turned into pus and seeped into the ground. Through the words of the 2 evil soul masters just now, Huang also figured out the distribution area and duties of the 100 evil soul masters. There are more than 80 people in the search team at the bottom of the foot of the mountain. Most of them are evil soul masters at the level of great soul masters. There are 14 evil soul masters at the level of soul lord living halfway up the mountain, and the one living on the top of the mountain is actually an evil soul master at the level of soul lord. Huang plans to defeat these minions at the foot of the mountain first, and then advance step by step to the top of the mountain. This also avoids being surrounded by these large numbers of evil soul masters at the level of great soul masters. These evil soul masters are basically in groups of 3 or 2, dealing with official business at the foot of the mountain. The relationship between these people is even more indifferent. Huang killed more than a dozen evil soul masters, but he didn't see any of these evil soul masters looking for their companions who had not returned for a long time. Not even a greeting. For these selfish evil soul masters, as long as they are still alive, the life and death of others has nothing to do with them. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55, Dark Night Ghost. Night fell quickly, and piles of bonfires were lit on Devil's Island. illuminating half of the sky. These evil soul masters gathered in groups of 3 or 5, eating hard-to-swallow dry food. Even though these dry food was spicy and unpalatable, they still held it carefully, fearing that a little bit of food residue would fall and waste food. The rations given to each person by the spirit hall were very small, which was not enough to starve them to death. All the edible things on Devil's Island were eaten up, and every corner was turned over and over by these evil soul masters. In the end, not even an ant could be found. In the afternoon, Huang saw with his own eyes that 2 gangs of evil soul masters killed each other because they were fighting for the ownership of a mouse the size of a finger. The night was originally the best time for assassination, but after they gathered together, Huang did not dare to do it. He could only lie in a thorn bush and wait for his opportunity. Although Huang was very hungry, he did not dare to move, nor did he dare to drink water or eat. Among these evil soul masters, there was a guy whose martial spirit was a very rare wolf dog. Of course, he didn't dare to take risks at this time. Dogs have very good noses. If this guy smells the food as soon as he takes it out, it will be more trouble than gain. 3 hours have passed, and Huang lay there like a rock, without moving his body. Although it was already early in the morning, these evil soul masters didn't even have the slightest intention of going to sleep. Their eyes were all looking straight at the position halfway up the mountain. The painful and happy wails of men and women coming from the tents halfway up the mountain made these guys who couldn't eat meat feel uncomfortable all over. Some of them even put their right hands into their clothes in front of everyone as if nothing had happened. Fortunately, the weather was good at this time, and autumn rain soaked these guys through the heart, and they no longer had the leisure and elegance of listening to the window. They were embarrassed to find a place on the mountain to take shelter from the rain. The opportunity has come. Wearing the clothes stripped from the dead evil soul master, the excited Huang got up and took advantage of the chaos to chase the evil soul master with the wolf dog martial spirit. This guy's sense of smell is too sensitive. Huang must get rid of him first. Huang's speed was very fast, and he soon caught up with the evil soul master. He was about to walk to the side of the guy. The evil soul master with a dog martial spirit who was running in the rain actually stopped running, and a puzzled expression appeared on his face. Then his huge nostrils began to twitch, trying to distinguish the source of the smell in the air. Not good. Huang's face changed drastically when he saw the expression of the evil soul master. He didn't care about hiding his figure. He leaped up and flew up. The black scimitar in his hand flew out quickly, and cut the throat of the evil soul master before he could shout. Looking at the evil soul master who covered his throat, opened his mouth and couldn't make a sound, and his body twitched, Huang walked up quickly and pulled his body into the bushes. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, and the rain was getting more and more urgent. Huang's body had been soaked by the rain, but his heart was very excited. A heavy rain directly blocked everyone's senses and cut off the connection between these evil soul masters. On this rainy night, Huang was like a ghost, quickly wandering around in various shelters, reaping the lives of these evil soul masters at will. In an hour, Huang visited all the places at the foot of the mountain, except for 2 who were killed by the evil soul masters in the same team as midnight snacks. The rest of the evil soul masters were killed by Huang. The heavy rain was still falling, and the blood on the ground was washed away. Huang no longer cared to dissolve these corpses with bone-eroding powder. He quickly took out a piece of good soul beast meat from the soul guide and swallowed it whole. Feeling a heat rising in his body, Huang walked out of the cave again and headed towards the mountainside during the rainy night. From a distance, Huang saw 5 tents set up halfway up the mountainside. Perhaps in order not to disturb each other, the 5 tents were separated by dozens of meters. The quality of these tents was very poor, and there was a bonfire burning in the tents. Huang, who was outside, could easily see that there were several evil soul masters inside and what they were doing. Huang observed the evil spirit masters in each tent from left to right, and then marked them with numbers in his mind according to the location of the tents, thinking about which tent to start with. In the number 1 tent on the far left was a couple, who had just extinguished the campfire and were obviously going to sleep. In the number 2 tent lived a strong man and a slim man. Judging from the faces of the 2 people when they came out to relieve themselves, They were very satisfied with the good things they had done in the tent just now. The number 3 tent in the middle was the largest, the most broken, the most people, and the loudest. Huang could even see 8 dogs and men flirting in it through the hole, and even the heavy rain could not cover up the sounds coming from it. Tent number 4 was next to the cliff, and there lived a weak scholar in it. At this time, he was sitting upright and playing a zither. Obviously, the woman in the tent next to him affected his performance. Every time he heard the surging sound, his hand that plucked the strings couldn't help but tremble. In tent number 5 lived a sturdy man with a fierce look on his face, who was meticulously wiping a large knife with a chip on it. To be able to keep this sharp weapon among so many evil soul masters, it was obvious that he had good fighting ability. What made Huang even more headache was that the place where this guy chose to build his tent was very open, and there was not even a sapling around. If Huang wanted to sneak attack, he would have nowhere to hide. The target of number 3 was too obvious to be killed first, and the sound they made could well cover the sudden sound of fighting. The guy from number 5 was not easy to mess with and should be left to the end. Number 1 and number 2 had already gone to bed, but number 2 relaxed his vigilance even more after the good thing happened. After analyzing the pros and cons, Huang moved towards the position of tent number 1. Huang moved to one end of tent number 1. Huang was at the position of the feet of the evil soul master couple in the tent. Huang took out a blowpipe and blew the homemade soul enchanting powder into it through the gap. Huang took a detoxification pill, waited for a cup of tea, and after confirming that it was safe, he cut a gap in the hidden corner of the tent, walked in quickly, and punched the 2 men on the temples. After sending the evil soul master couple who were sleeping in tent number 1 away, Huang returned to the original path and approached tent number 2 from the hidden corner again. Another deadly poison that had been prepared in his hand was blown into the gap by Huang. There was only 1 pack of such poison left on Huang, but in order to avoid entering the tent and seeing the disgusting scene of 2 men sleeping in each other's arms, he could not care so much and could only use it with pain. After killing the evil soul masters in the 2 tents in succession, Huang slowly moved to the tent with the largest number of people and the loudest noise. Chapter 56 Kill. Crack. Huang was only focused on the many evil soul masters in the tent, and accidentally stepped on a dead branch. The nervous Huang hurriedly lowered his body, fearing that the evil soul masters living in tent number 3 would find out. His worry was obviously unnecessary. The evil soul masters in the tent were only focused on the joy in front of them and had no time to care about anything else. Seeing that the evil soul masters in the tent did not notice, Huang crawled to the edge of the tent and blew a large bag of cartilage powder into it. After a while, as the power of the medicine spread, the movements of the evil soul masters who were already alive and moving became weaker and weaker. They did not think that it was because they were drugged, but thought that it was because of long-term hard work and physical exhaustion that caused physical fatigue. The first male evil soul master who collapsed was nicknamed a weak shrimp by the other evil soul masters, and became the object of ridicule by everyone in the tent. As time went on, the effects of the medicine on the others gradually took effect. Seeing that these 8 people no longer had the ability to threaten him, Huang took out a long bow from his soul guide. He hung the string and drew the bow in one go. A huge arrow as thick as a child's arm quickly shot at the scholar who was playing the piano in the tent next to him. Because the distance was too close, the arrow didn't even have time to whistle before it nailed the scholar's forehead. The strong inertia of the arrow even brought the scholar's tent down the cliff. Looking at the scholar in the tent drifting down the cliff with the wind, the battle between the 5 men and 3 women in the tent closest to the scholar entered a white-hot stage. They didn't even look at them and continued to do happy things. Even the fierce guy in tent number 5 who had been sharpening his knife just glanced at him and didn't pay attention. You will suffer for your own evil. He also mistakenly thought that this guy was blown down by the strong wind because his tent was too close to the cliff. Now it's finally time to hunt down this guy who sharpened his knife. Huang observed for a long time, but he couldn't find a place to get close to the evil soul master without being discovered by him. In desperation, he had to take out an arrow as thick as a child's arm, put it on the bow and shot it at the guy's head. Swish! The distance was too far, and the whistling sound of the arrow immediately attracted the attention of the evil soul master. The arrow, as thick as an arm, had already reached the outside of the tent, and then pierced the tent and headed for the guy's face. At the critical moment, the guy suddenly leaned back and chopped the broken big knife in his hand towards the arrow shot by Huang. Each of Huang's arrows was forged with fine iron by the best blacksmith in Wuhan City, so how could this guy's broken knife be able to break it? The big knife collided with the arrow, and the huge inertia caused the evil soul master to stagger, and the broken knife in his hand was directly broken into 2 pieces. The broken part fell on the stone on the ground and made a crisp sound. After the surprise attack failed, Huang did not hesitate. He kicked his legs and rushed towards the evil soul master who lived in tent number 5. Seeing Huang rushing at him at high speed, the evil soul master immediately threw the handle of the broken knife in his hand towards Huang, blocking Huang's progress and buying himself more time. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the evil soul master directly summoned his martial soul. This guy's martial soul is a black bear. When he summoned his martial soul, 3 soul rings, 1 white and 2 yellow, also appeared. This evil soul master did not take the young Huang seriously at all. With the sound of breaking wind, his right leg kicked directly at Huang's chest. "Get out!" Huang saw the right leg kicking at him, and he did not dodge at all. Such an evil soul master with miscellaneous soul rings on his body could not break his martial soul defense at all. Bang! The moment the right leg kicked Huang's chest, a huge recoil force directly shocked this guy back more than 10 steps. While the guy was unstable, Huang quickly approached him and knocked him to the ground with a knee strike. He clenched his right fist and quickly hit the evil soul master's head. This guy was able to break out of the crowd of evil soul masters, so his reaction was naturally not slow. He rolled over to avoid Huang's full-strength attack. Huang's right fist missed and hit the ground. Bang! A stone the size of a human head turned into rubble and splashed everywhere. Being chased and beaten by a child, this guy showed a fierce look on his face. He gritted his teeth, pulled out the broken blade tied to his right leg, and suddenly inserted it into his heart. This made Huang stunned. He didn't expect that this guy would hurt himself when he saw that he couldn't beat him. Things were obviously not as Huang imagined. When the short blade was inserted, the guy's face twisted directly, and red blood mist rose all over his body. The whole body swelled again. This turned out to be a secret method to strengthen strength. This secret method obviously comes at the cost of overdrawing life. The hair of this evil soul master turned white in an instant. The evil soul master roared in pain and rushed towards Huang again. The two fought again. Every collision made a roaring sound. Boom, boom, boom. Once, twice, 3 times. When the evil soul master rushed over again, Huang's right foot gathered strength and kicked directly on the guy's chest. Although there was a barrier of soul power, under Huang's full-strength attack, a large cloud of blood mist spurted out of the guy's mouth, and the whole body flew out again. He fell to the ground motionlessly. Huang never checked whether this guy was dead or alive, and turned to walk towards tent number 3. While the effect of the cartilage powder has not dissipated, he will deal with these guys first. Entering the tent, the male soul masters actually tried to pick up the weapons around them and attack. Huang's whole body exuded a fierce killing intent, and the black scimitar drew an arc in front of these guys. A tooth-grinding sound of skin tearing was heard, and the 5 people were immediately beheaded. Seeing the torn bodies of the 5 male soul masters, the remaining 3 female soul masters showed panic on their faces. "Don't kill us, spare our lives. We sisters are very good at serving people." The 3 people slowly stood up, with a pitiful look on their faces. They flirted and showed their proud figures to Huang. "Spare you, you're overthinking." The scimitar drew an arc again, and 3 heads flew out in an instant. Huang turned around and walked out without even a glance. The guy who was defeated by Huang just now woke up early, and took advantage of the gap when Huang was killing people, and directly stood up and ran towards the top of the mountain. Huang did not chase him and kill him directly, but followed him slowly from behind. Don't let this guy escape from his sight. Chapter 57, Soul Destroying Sect. Yi Huang had already vaguely guessed the evil soul master's thoughts. He just wanted to run up and ask for the protection of the only evil soul master of soul sect level on the top of the mountain. The sky was already slightly bright, and the rainstorm slowly stopped. After a night of continuous fighting, Yi Huang's body was exhausted to the extreme. Taking this opportunity, he hurriedly took out the soul beast's meat from the soul guide, chewed it in big mouthfuls, and restored his physical strength. Near the top of the mountain, an exquisite white tent slowly appeared in Yi Huang's sight. An old man with silver hair and silver clothes sat cross-legged in front of the tent to practice. The evil soul master who escaped in front saw the figure of the silver-haired old man in front of the tent, and his face showed great joy. "Master, save me!" The evil soul master shouted loudly and ran towards the evil soul master of soul sect in front of the tent. Seeing that this guy was only a dozen steps away from the evil soul master of soul sect, Yi Huang stuffed the soul beast meat in his hand into his mouth, rubbed the oil on his hand on his body, and took out his bow and arrows. "Pull the bow, draw the arrow, and shoot." The soul master who just ran to the front of the soul sect's evil soul master was shot by Yi Huang's arrow. He died directly in front of the soul sect's strong man, and the blood flowing from his mouth dyed the old man's white clothes red. Seeing Yi Huang walking over slowly, the old man was not nervous. He just stretched out his hand, grabbed the arm of the guy who died in front of him, and threw it hard, throwing the body with residual heat out like throwing garbage. Since Yi Huang walked to the top of the mountain, the eyes of the old man of the soul sect have never left Yi Huang's body. A smile that was difficult to hide appeared on his face. "Isn't he your apprentice? You could have saved him just now. Why didn't you do it?" Yi Huang didn't understand what the old man was thinking, and asked in confusion. "He is my apprentice, should I save him? His death, what does it have to do with me? If he can't survive, you can only blame him for not learning the skills well." The old man changed his voice and continued. "Besides, even if you don't kill him, I won't let him live. On this devil's island, only I, Zhu, am qualified to enjoy a top genius like you with delicate skin and tender flesh. He is not worthy." The soul sect's evil soul master named Zhu stared at Yi Huang with burning eyes, licking his lips greedily. For these evil soul masters imprisoned by the spirit hall, it is a rare opportunity to meet a blood food like Yi Huang. "You want to eat me, but you are not afraid of knocking out your dog teeth." Yi Huang looked at Zhu with a face full of contempt. "Well, kid, you have guts. When I eat you later, I will cut off your flesh piece by piece, so that you can taste the taste of being cut into pieces." After saying that, Zhu directly summoned his own martial soul. A wolf with blood-stained hair appeared behind him. 4 soul rings, 1 white, 2 yellow and 1 purple, also appeared at the same time with the martial soul. This guy's soul power is only a little stronger than his apprentice, and his soul rings are also terrible. "Haha, you, a low-end guy, dare to shout in front of me. I'll show you what a true genius is, so that when you go to hell, you will have some bragging capital." Yi Huang directly summoned his martial soul, Girong Tong Shanju. "Haha, God is really good to me. He actually sent me such a superb delicacy." Zhu looked at the 3 soul rings on Yi Huang's body, 1 yellow and 2 purple, which were blinding. Not only was he not afraid, but he was surprised and thanked God for his gift. "Boy, don't be arrogant. Today I will let you see the gap between Soul Venerable and Soul Sect." As Zhu said, the first soul ring on his body lit up instantly and rushed towards Yi Huang. The first soul power, as fast as the wind. As soon as the words fell, 4 green spots appeared under the feet of the blood wolf behind Zhu. The speed of its running suddenly increased, and its front claws with a cold glow grabbed towards Yi Huang's face. Yi Huang punched the claw, and sparks flew. Yi Huang's physique was too strong. Zhu's grab not only did not hurt Yi Huang, but almost wore out his sharp claws. Second soul skill, Blood Wolf 100 strikes. Zhu, who was repelled by Yi Huang, did not give up, and leaped up to attack again. For a moment, countless blood-colored claw shadows blocked all of Yi Huang's retreat routes. HMPH, Yi Huang punched the claw shadow in front of him and lit up his third soul skill. Third soul skill, Soul sacrifice. A gray chrysanthemum petal fell from the golden yellow Qirong Tongshan chrysanthemum, and at the moment when the claw shadow dissipated, it quickly stuck to Zhu Tu's danshan. Before Zhu Tu could react, the gray chrysanthemum petal quickly penetrated into his blood. In an instant, Zhu Tu felt that the blood flow in his body slowed down, and his soul power was depleted a lot. We can't hold on any longer. As fast as lightning, the wrath of the blood wolf, Zhu Tu lit up his third and fourth soul rings in succession. After 2 soul skills, the soul power in his body has reached the bottom. If I don't succeed, I will die. Zhu Tu was ready to burn his boats. One by one, blood balls with a fishy smell shot towards Yi Huang. Yi Huang's body jumped back one after another, and these blood balls instantly missed. The blood balls shattered on the ground, making a squeaking sound, and after a while, large pits were corroded on the stones on the ground. What a vicious soul skill! Even Yi Huang would be disfigured if he was hit by this blood-colored ball of light. As soon as Yi Huang dodged the attack, the blood wolf behind Zhu Tu was covered with blue electric light. Zhu Tu's speed increased again, and Yi Huang had no chance to counterattack. On the contrary, as Zhu Tu attacked Yi Huang more and more frequently, he felt that his body was being disturbed by Zhu Tu's thunder-type soul skill, and became numb and couldn't stop using it. No, if this goes on, sooner or later my whole body will be paralyzed. Sitting and waiting to die is not Yi Huang's character. He deliberately exposed various flaws and let Zhu Tu attack him, so as to control his offensive rhythm. Sure enough, Zhu Tu was fooled. During one of the attacks, Yi Huang caught the flaw. Just as his body approached Yi Huang and was about to launch an attack, he noticed a strange smile on Yi Huang's face. Not good. Zhu Tu realized that he had been fooled and was about to withdraw. Want to retreat? It's too late. The second soul ring on Yi Huang's body lit up, and the golden chrysanthemum petals turned from flourishing to withered. Zhu Tu, who was withdrawing, felt as if he had fallen into a muddy swamp. Every step he took was extremely difficult. Zhu Tu, who had lost his speed, had become a lamb to be slaughtered. Go to hell! Yi Huang jumped high, and the black scimitar in his hand slashed fiercely at Zhu Tu, who had difficulty walking. Crack! With one knife, blood splattered everywhere, and Zhu Tu was directly split in half by Yi Huang, and his body fell to both sides. Now the soul master with the highest soul power on Devil Island has died under Yi Huang's knife. Yi Huang's assessment standard is to hunt down all the evil soul masters on Devil Island. For fear of slipping through the net, Yi Huang searched the entire Devil Island carefully before walking towards the exit with confidence. Chapter 58 The Return of the Sun. The trees on Devil Island are lush, and the big trees on the island almost block all the sunlight that hits the ground. Yi Huang didn't know how long he had been on Devil Island. When he quickly moved towards the exit from the other side of the island, Duoluo Yuguan and Huliina, who were waiting at the exit, were already very nervous. The sand in the hourglass in front of Golden Crocodile Luo had already reached the bottom, and Yi Huang's figure still did not appear at the other end of the suspension bridge. If Yi Huang didn't come back, even if he killed all the evil soul masters, this trial would still be considered a failure. What a pity! If Big Brother lowered his requirements and didn't limit the time so tightly, he might really get a good grandson-in-law. Looking at the fine sand in the hourglass, which soon disappeared, and the green dots representing evil soul masters on the soul guide, all disappeared, Golden Crocodile Luo sat by the bridge and muttered to himself. His words were full of regret and regret. From the day Yuguan took Yi Huang, who was full of soul power, back to Wuhan City, he had received the attention of the great priest Qian Daliu, except that the secret that Yi Huang has twin martial souls was shielded by Bibi Dong's killing god domain. Qian Daliu didn't know it. Every time he advanced, he couldn't escape the eyes of the Elder Hall. Even the soul beast of Yi Huang's third soul skill was secretly instructed by Qian Daliu. Golden Crocodile Luo was still quite optimistic about Yi Huang. After all, he could cultivate his soul power to level 30 at the age of 9. This talent was simply unprecedented. Even Qian Daliu's granddaughter, Qian Renxu, who had a soul power of level 20, was not better than Huang at this age. But Qian Douluo had two higher requirements for his grandson-in-law. Since Qian Renxu was 10 years old, he secretly helped the advisor to choose a son-in-law. Now 7 years have passed, and he still hasn't chosen a satisfactory grandson-in-law. And Huang is also the sole master who is closest to Qian Douluo's requirements in the past few years. The fine sand in the hourglass was almost gone. Golden Crocodile Luo stretched out his hand to put it away, and got up to go to Devil Island to see Huang's situation in person. As long as Huang didn't die, Golden Crocodile Luo would definitely bring him back. Although the trial failed, he didn't want the Spirit Hall to lose such a genius. Just as Golden Crocodile Luo was about to get up, the two iron chains in front of him suddenly vibrated sharply. A figure came out of the thick fog and came to the front of Golden Crocodile in a few rises and falls. "Senior Golden Crocodile, I'm late. I don't know if I have missed the trial time." Huang's breathing was a little rapid as he hurried along the way. "Haha, you came at the right time." Watching the last grain of sand in the hourglass fall, Golden Crocodile Luo laughed and said to Huang, "The position of the Holy Sun has been vacant for a long time, and today the successor has finally been chosen." For the loyal Golden Crocodile, the Spirit Hall has a successor, and his elder brother Qian Douluo's wish can finally be fulfilled by someone. These are also the results he most hopes to see. "You guys chat first, I have to go back to the Elder Hall to report." Golden Crocodile Luo obviously saw that Guan and Huliina had something to say to Huang. He quickly found an excuse to leave first. In the past few days, Huliina almost never left the exit, anxiously waiting for Huang's return. He saw Huliina's feelings for Huang and kept them in mind. People at the level of Golden Crocodile Luo don't mind having 3 wives and 4 concubines, as long as Qian Renxu is the main wife. Huang will marry a few concubines and have children. They don't object. This is also the reason why Golden Crocodile Luo didn't treat Huliina coldly. Watching Golden Crocodile Luo get on the carriage and leave quickly, Huliina put down all her reserve and jumped directly into Huang's arms. Guan saw Huliina's reaction and quickly dodged away, leaving time for the lovers. Huliina hugged Huang's strong waist tightly with both hands, as if she wanted to merge her body into Huang's body. "Brother Huang, you scared me to death." Huliina, who came to her senses, had a choked voice and beat Huang's chest with her soft fists. "Little senior sister, I made you worry." Huang looked at Huliina's beautiful face, lowered his head, and couldn't help kissing her. Huang's sudden attack made Huliina's body soften. She leaned her whole body on Huang, her hands tightly hugged Huang's neck, and responded fiercely. Huang returned safely and successfully completed the trial. The smile on Huliina's face has never disappeared since Huang returned. She is like a little woman in love. Not long after the two got on the carriage, Huliina's upper and lower eyelids began to fight. These days, she has been looking at the direction of Devil Island with worry, and she has hardly closed her eyes. No matter how Guan and Golden Crocodile Luo persuaded her, she stood stubbornly at the exit. She wanted Huang to see her as soon as he came back. Now that Huang has returned safely, the stubbornness in his heart has slowly been removed, and fatigue quickly invaded Huliina's nerves. Unknowingly, she fell asleep in Huang's arms. The sun rose again, and the three returned to Wuhan City. Guan handed the carriage to the guards in front of the Pope's palace, and took Huang and Huliina into the Pope's palace. "Your Highness, Master Sister, Teacher." 3 different titles came out of the mouths of the 3 people. As soon as they left the villa, Huliina's title became very formal. Bibi Dong, who had been waiting in the Pope's palace for a long time, walked down from the Pope's chair. "Huang, you did a great job this time." She already knew the difficulty of this trial, and was a little worried, but she didn't expect Huang to complete it brilliantly. "That's because the 3 masters taught me well." "You are a sweet kid." The smile on Bibi Dong's face became even stronger. "Here, this is a reward for you." Bibi Dong took out a crystal-clear ring from her soul guide and handed it to Huang. Huang took a look at the ring and saw that there was an angel with 6 wings and a spear in his hand engraved on the jade ring. This is the Holy Sun ring that has been passed down from generation to generation in the Wuhan Palace. Don't underestimate this ring. It is not just a proof of your identity, it can also block the full force attack of the titled Douluo for you when your life is hanging by a thread. Oh, thank you, Master Sister. After thanking Bibi Dong, Huang did something that made the three titled masters present laugh and cry. Huang directly took Huliana's right hand and put the jade ring symbolizing the status of the Holy Sun on Huliana's thumb. Little Master Sister, put this on. Master Sister said it can save your life. Huang didn't care about the so-called Holy Sun status at all. If it wasn't for marrying Huliana openly, he wouldn't even bother to participate in this trial. As for the defensive skills of the jade ring, they were dispensable to him. Chapter 59, First Meeting with Qian Douluo. With the increase of soul power, the pretentious skills that the kid brought to him before death can last for 3 seconds. As long as he does not encounter that kind of extremely powerful titled Douluo, he can face it calmly. Huang, this jade ring is the symbol of the Holy Sun. You can't give it to others casually. Guan hurried forward to stop it. Little senior sister is not someone else, she is my future wife. Huang's words directly made Guan not know what to say, and he looked at Bibi Dong for help. Huang, this Holy Sun ring can only be worn by soul masters who have obtained the position of Holy Sun. You are breaking the rules of the Spirit Hall by doing this. I know you are worried about Nana's safety, but there is no order without rules. This ring can only be used by you. Well, then okay. Looking at Bibi Dong's serious expression, Huang could only take the ring handed over by Huliana and put it on his thumb at random. This casual set made Bibi Dong and Guan look helpless. What others dream of, in Huang's eyes, is not much different from a grain of rice or a piece of meat. Huang, your master plans to hold a grand succession ceremony for you. At that time, I will invite all the prominent sects in Luo continent to participate in this ceremony. Bibi Dong continued to say as she watched Huang put on the ring. In Bibi Dong's heart, Huang is his disciple, and the succession ceremony should of course be grand. No, Master Sister, I just want to practice in peace. Hearing that Bibi Dong was going to hold a succession ceremony for him, Huang's face changed color instantly, and he waved his hand to refuse. What a joke. He is not a fool. This damn position of the Son of God can only make him the target of public criticism. Before he develops, the best way is to hide to the end. The lower your profile, the safer you will be. Since you don't want to, forget it. I won't hold a succession ceremony for you, but it is still necessary to inform all the branches of the Spirit Hall about your identity. This will also ensure that when you travel the continent in the future, if you really encounter difficulties, you can get help from all the branches. Seeing Huang's repeated refusal, Bibi Dong had to give up. Yeah, I'll listen to Master Sister, as long as his identity is not publicized to everyone. Huang can still accept it. After handling the current affairs, Huang walked out of the Pope's Hall alone. Today is the first day of the new year, and it is another day for all the officials of the Spirit Hall to discuss major events. Bibi Dong originally wanted to keep Huang and let him listen by the side, but Huang refused on the grounds of physical fatigue. For Huang, who yearns for freedom, listening to these officials' discussions in the Pope's Hall is an invisible disaster for him. Huang originally planned to stroll around the Spirit City and buy some vegetables. The family hasn't eaten together for a long time, and he is ready to show off his skills today. But as soon as he went out, he was stopped by a guard in golden armor. Your Highness, the Holy Sun, the High Priest invites you. High Priest Qian Douluo, what does he want to see me for? Is he going to kill me? Except for Guan and Gui Mai, the other people in the Elder Hall were not on good terms with Bibi Dong. Huang was the first to think of this. He did not doubt the truth of the guard's words. After all, no one dared to stop someone openly at the door of the Pope's Hall, and it was the Holy Sun who had just succeeded to the throne. Except for a few priests in the Elder Hall, no one else had such courage. Impossible. If he wanted to kill me, he could just let a high-level evil soul master in during my trial, and I would definitely be finished. He would not need to do it himself. Although it was only a matter of a moment, Huang had imagined countless possibilities in his mind. But he still could not guess why Qian Douluo summoned him. Please lead the way, Holy Sun, please. Yi Huang followed the guard and walked towards the Elder Hall. Yi Huang came to the Deputy Hall of the Elder Hall more than once. However, this was Yi Huang's first time to visit the main hall in the middle, which was closed all day long. "Holy Son, please come in." The guard opened the door of the main hall of the Elder Hall and led Yi Huang in. He turned around and walked out and closed the door from the outside. "This is the most sacred place in the entire Wuhan Hall. Unless invited by the great worshipper Qian Daliu, others who enter privately will be killed on the spot for any reason." Yi Huang looked up and saw a gradually rising golden staircase. At the end of the staircase stood a huge six-winged angel statue about 30 meters high. Everything in the main hall was made of pure gold, giving people an extremely luxurious visual impact. Qian Daliu, who was burly, had golden hair and golden armor. He knelt straight in front of the tall angel statue, with his hands clasped together, and prayed continuously. Yi Huang did not go forward to disturb him, but just watched quietly. "If the enemy does not move, I will not move." Before understanding the purpose of Qian Daliu's summoning, the best way is to speak less. After an incense stick of time, the obscure prayers gradually stopped. Qian Daliu turned around and looked at Yi Huang carefully from the high steps. Seeing Qian Daliu looking at him, Yi Huang also raised his head and looked directly at Qian Daliu on the high platform. Everyone was a human for the first time, and Yi Huang did not let him think. Yi Huang's neither humble nor arrogant attitude surprised Qian Daliu. "This is the Angel Temple, exuding a sacred atmosphere everywhere. Qian Daliu has a natural sacred bonus here. Even a Soul Buo level Soul Master in the Spirit Hall is not as calm as Yi Huang. I want to see how long you can be calm." Qian Daliu looked at Yi Huang with burning eyes, and a dazzling light burst out from behind him. 9 soul rings were neatly arranged on his body, and 3 pairs of white wings emerged, slowly flapping behind him. "This is the 6-winged angel spirit of the angel clan." The golden light gathered and transformed into 2 strong golden lights that shot out from Qian Daliu's eyes and shone on Yi Huang's body. In an instant, Yi Huang felt as if he was carrying a heavy mountain on his back. The bones in his body creaked under the invisible pressure. After a while, his whole body was bent up by the pressure. If this continues, Yi Huang will not be able to hold on for long before he is forced to kneel down. Yi Huang is a person who is soft-hearted and not hard-hearted. If you talk to him nicely, everything will be easy to say. But if he is forced right away, even if he knows he can't win, he will bite off 2 tails of meat from the enemy. Seeing that Yi Huang was not overwhelmed by this heavy pressure at the first time, Qian Daliu was already ecstatic in his heart. Just when he was about to withdraw the mental pressure on Yi Huang, a hoarse cry came from Yi Huang's mouth. Chapter 60 Qian Daliu's Compromise. Qian Daliu stared at Yi Huang. Yi Huang, who was originally unable to stand up due to the pressure, ignored the tearing of his body and stood up shakily under the heavy pressure. Who? At this time, Yi Huang's clothes were soaked with blood and sweat, and he was gasping for air. Fortunately, Yi Huang had a divine body with strong vitality and strong recovery ability. If it were an ordinary person, he would have been crushed to pieces if he tried to resist this heavy pressure. "Junior Yi Huang," I greeted the great priest. Yi Huang put his hands together and saluted Qian Daliu as a junior. This also conveyed a message to Qian Daliu. "I am a junior. If you, as an elder, continue to be shameless and bully the weak, you will shorten your life." Good. Qian Daliu withdrew the pressure he exerted on Yi Huang and said 3 good words in a row: courageous, strategic, and gifted. Such a child is most suitable to be the grandson-in-law of the Qian family. "Good child, come closer so I can see you." Qian Daliu waved at Yi Huang with a smile on his face. "Yes, sir." Yi Huang breathed a sigh of relief. If Qian Daliu exerted mental pressure again, he could only use the pretentious skills that the kid gave him to deal with it calmly. That was his trump card, and he didn't want to use it easily. If he used it, it would be hard to get away with it. As one of the 3 extreme Buo and Luo continent, Qian Daliu is not as easy to fool as other soul masters. Yi Huang walked in front of Qian Daliu and looked at the old man in front of him who was over 100 years old. In fact, Qian Daliu is also a tragic figure. His son was killed by Bibi Dong for being a fool. His granddaughter wanted to prove her ability all the time, so she turned around and went to the Tandu Empire to be an undercover agent. This old man was left alone in the Angel Temple. To put it bluntly, Qian Daliu is now a poor empty-nest old man. This old man, like the elders of thousands of families, has been around his descendants all his life. In the end, he even sacrificed his life. Child, do you know what I want to do with you? I don't know. Please tell me. I want you to join the Qian family, become the grandson-in-law of the Qian family, and expand the Qian family. As long as you agree, you can instantly become a powerful existence under one person and above 10,000 people. You can use all the resources of the Wuhan Hall as much as you want. Qian Daliu did not beat around the bush and directly stated his purpose, with bewitching words one after another. Nima, this old man asked me to come and actually wanted me to be the son-in-law of the Qian family. It seems that I am used as a tool for reproduction. If Huang remembers correctly, it seems that Qian Renxu is the only child of the Qian family. As long as he agrees now, he will immediately become Qian Renxu's fiancé. But Huang couldn't agree, because he already had Huliana. It was impossible for him to give up Huliana and marry Qian Renxu, whom he didn't know. Thank you for your kindness, Senior. I already have someone in my heart. Humphrey, are the women of my Qian family worse than a fake saint? Qian Daliu didn't expect Huang to dare to reject him openly. Although he had no prejudice against men having 3 wives and 4 concubines, he was still very angry when it really came to his granddaughter. With a cold snort from Qian Daliu, a huge pressure once again pressed on Huang. The children of the Qian family are definitely more talented than my junior sister, but I can't accept a person who has no emotional foundation as my wife against my will. Even if you use force to make me surrender today, can you keep suppressing me like this in 10, 20, or 30 years? What about 30 or 50 years later? Don't bully the poor young man. Huang's heartbreaking words made Qian Daliu silent. I can kill you right now. Although Qian Daliu had a ruthless look on his face, Huang clearly felt that the pressure on him was slowly disappearing. What will happen if you kill me? What will you get? Huang's words once again caught Qian Daliu's pulse. Yeah, even if he kills Huang, what good can he get? Not only will the Spirit Hall lose a talented young man, but it will also incur the hatred of Bibi Dong, Yu Guan and Gui Mai. Except for the Elder Hall, the rest of the Spirit Hall is controlled by Bibi Dong. If Huang is really killed now, Qian Daliu is really afraid that Bibi Dong, this crazy woman, will go crazy. He has a great mission on his shoulders, and he must always ensure that his body is in peak condition, and there can't be any mistakes. He dare not gamble at this time. Qian Daliu took a long breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. Are you not going to give up? Yes, I won't give up my junior sister. Huang answered Qian Daliu's question, and then changed the subject. If I give up my junior sister directly and agree to your conditions, I guess you won't dare to hand over your granddaughter to such an ungrateful guy. Yes. Qian Daliu nodded involuntarily, agreeing with Huang's statement. After the confrontation, Huang's position in Qian Daliu's mind was raised a lot. I will no longer force you to give up that little fox, but I ask you to marry my granddaughter as your legal wife. This request is not too much, right? Qian Daliu lowered his requirements for Huang again. Old man, a forced melon is not sweet. Even if I agree to you now, it would be perfunctory. I want to have more contact with your granddaughter before answering your question. Okay? Fearing that Qian Daliu would not agree, Huang continued to explain. Even if your granddaughter and I feel that we are not suitable for each other, I, Huang, can swear that no matter what happens in the future, I will stand behind your granddaughter and support her. Okay, I believe you for the time being. Qian Daliu hesitated for a while and agreed. He also realized that he was a little too hasty today. The Angel family has handsome men and beautiful women. Qian Daliu is still quite confident about Qian Renxu's appearance. As long as he is not a eunuch and has mental problems, no normal man can escape from his granddaughter's palm. I would like to ask you to go to Tandu Empire to help me take care of Xur after you become an adult. It has not been easy for her to live alone in a foreign country these years. This is my request as an elder. You must agree this time." Qian Daliu's words were also emotional. "Okay, when I go to Tandu Empire in a few years, I will definitely help you take care of her." Yi Huang agreed. Children in Luo continent are considered adults at the age of 12. In 3 years, Yi Huang also plans to travel to the two empires. There is no news about Zhugubo yet. If he can't be found in 3 years, Yi Huang can only wait for the 3 dogs in Shrek Academy. Chapter 61 Angel's Blessing. "Now that I have agreed to your request, will you also do something to reassure me?" Qian Daliu said casually. Then, "Old man, what should I do to make you feel at ease?" This was already expected by Yi Huang. Moreover, Qian Daliu was still open and above board, and did not do anything behind the scenes. There is no free lunch in the world. Since Qian Daliu gave Yi Huang so much freedom, he would definitely set a trap for him. "I want to give you an angel's blessing. When your life is threatened, it can help you resist the attack of a super duo without dying." "Thank you very much, old man," Yi Huang said happily. He did not expect Qian Daliu to give such a life-saving talisman, and hurriedly bowed to thank him. "Haha, don't be too happy too soon. You may not know that this angel's blessing has another name." "Another name? What name? Please tell me, old man." Yi Huang felt a little uneasy in his heart. "Its other name is the Angel's Curse. A soul master who accepts the Angel's blessing will be cursed by the Angel as long as he betrays the Angel's tribe and will be burned to death by the Angel's fire in an instant. Do you still dare to accept it?" "Accept?" Yi Huang answered without hesitation. "What a joke, isn't this nonsense?" At this juncture, if Yi Huang doesn't agree, the old man will definitely not let him go so easily. As long as he is safe at the moment, it will not be difficult to become a god with his own cultivation speed in the future. At that time, it will be easy to remove this curse. Even if he can't find a solution, as long as he conquers Qian Renxu and makes her fall in love with him wholeheartedly, he can still be safe. "Okay, since you agreed, I will take you to bless you now. Just stand there obediently." Qian Daliu was very satisfied to see Yi Huang agree so readily. He turned back to the angel statue, put his hands together, and began to pray again. As the speed of the obscure words coming out of his mouth became faster and faster, a diamond-shaped gem appeared on Qian Daliu's forehead. Then a ray of golden light shot out from the diamond-shaped gem and hit the forehead of the tall angel statue. In an instant, a golden vortex appeared at the forehead of the angel statue. "Let's go." Qian Daliu directly picked up Yi Huang, who was full of surprise, and rushed towards the golden vortex. Boom! Yi Huang only felt it dizzy in his mind. When he opened his eyes again, the scenery in front of him had changed drastically. His whole body was soaked in the golden ocean. Streams of warm golden energy drilled in and out of the 180,000 pores on his body. Qian Daliu took Yi Huang and flew in this golden ocean for another cup of tea. A hexagonal palace appeared in front of the two. There was no wall around this palace, and only 6 huge golden pillars supported the roof of the palace. On the floor of the hall, the roof of the hall, and the 6 huge golden pillars, there are patterns based on the shape of angel feathers. In the center of the hall, there is a 3-meter-high dull gray angel statue. In front of the statue, a long sword of the same gray color is inserted into the ground. The 6 wings behind it are spread out, lifelike. "Old man, is this the inheritance place of your angel family?" Yi Huang looked at everything in the hall like a curious baby. "Aren't you afraid that I will go out and reveal this place to you?" Yi Huang joked. "Hee, you little bastard, if I was afraid that you would reveal it, I would not bring you here. This inheritance is only useful for my angel family. Without my guidance, no one can find this different space." Perhaps it has been a long time since he has communicated with the child. Qian Daliu obviously said a lot more than usual. "Okay, after blessing you, let's go out quickly." Qian Daliu waved his right hand and attracted the golden energy in this space and applied it to the angel statue. Golden energy permeated the angel statue, and a huge angel shadow suddenly appeared in the starry sky outside the hall. The angel shadow slowly raised the scepter in his hand as Qian Daliu prayed. A dazzling ball of light appeared on the top of the scepter. This ball of light was too bright, and the stars in the sky seemed dim against it. The ball of light continued to compress until it became a point of light. The angel pointed the scepter in the hand of the angel and waved it at Yi Huang's position. The light point quickly fell off the scepter and shot quickly towards Yi Huang's brow. Looking at the dazzling light point shooting towards him, Yi Huang subconsciously closed his eyes. After a while, Yi Huang looked inward and found that there was an extra golden light point in his sea of consciousness. Yi Huang slowly opened his eyes and looked at Qian Daliu, who was breathing heavily in front of him. Obviously, the operation just now was also a great burden for him. "Boy, you go out first. I need to recuperate here for a few days." Without waiting for Yi Huang to say anything, Qian Daliu waved his big hand, and Yi Huang's whole body flew in the direction from which he came. After a dizzying spin, he landed steadily in the main hall of the Elder Hall. Now that the matter was done, there was no need for Yi Huang to stay. He found a set of clean clothes from the Soul Guide and changed directly in the hall. He didn't want to go home in blood-stained clothes and make Bibi Dong and Huliina worry. When Yi Huang returned home with the vegetables, Bibi Dong and Huliina had already returned. "Junior brother, where did you go? Why did you come back now?" "I'm starving." Huliina looked at Yi Huang coming back and said coquettishly, "Aren't I buying vegetables?" "It took a little time. Have some snacks first. I'll go cook." Yi Huang gave Huliina the snacks he had just bought from outside, and walked into the kitchen with the dishes. As soon as Yi Huang put down the dishes, Bibi Dong walked in. "Huanger, that man didn't do anything to you, did he?" How could Bibi Dong's ears escape the fact that Yi Huang was called away by Qian Daliu? It was just that when Bibi Dong got the news, Yi Huang had already arrived at the Elder's Hall. Otherwise she would never let Yi Huang go with the guard. She didn't ask just now because she was afraid that Huliina would hear and worry. "Master Sister, the Great Elder didn't do anything to me." "What about you and Nana?" "He knows everything. He didn't blame me." Although Yi Huang said it easily, Bibi Dong knew that the situation at that time would definitely not be as easy as Yi Huang said. Since Yi Huang was able to return safely, it was obvious that some kind of agreement had been reached. "You kid, you must treat them well in the future." Bibi Dong used them this time, obviously not referring specifically to Huliina, but also her own daughter Qian Renxu. "Master Sister, you care about her so much. Why do you pretend to be so indifferent? Are you really happy in your heart that the previous grievances are imposed on innocent people?" "What do you know, kid?" Yi Huang's words made Bibi Dong silent for a while. She knew that what Yi Huang said made sense, but she didn't know how to communicate with Qian Renxu. Looking at Bibi Dong who hurried out of the kitchen, Yi Huang shook his head with a wry smile. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62, The Fourth Soul Skill. After returning this time, Yi Huang's life was back on track again. Every day, apart from eating and sleeping, he would accompany Ziyu or several brothers in his dormitory to hunt evil soul masters. The only difference from before was that every weekend, in addition to accompanying Bibi Dong, he would go to the Elder Hall to chat with Qian Daliu. This man was old, and he was too lonely without any relatives around him. Yi Huang's style of doing things was to his liking, so Yi Huang, the designated grandson-in-law, would be called to the Elder Hall for a lecture every weekend. Not to mention, since Yi Huang went to Qian Daliu, he has also learned a lot of knowledge. After all, as one of the three peerless masters in Douluo continent, Qian Daliu's use of soul power has reached the point of perfection, which also saved Yi Huang from taking a lot of detours. Originally, the Pope's Hall and the Elder Hall had always been at odds. Since Yi Huang became the son of God, the quarrels between the two parties have been much less than before. This dull life lasted for 2 years. With the support of Yi Huang's first soul skill, Several brothers in the dormitory all passed the 30th level and became true soul masters. After several brothers became soul masters, Huang also broke through to the 40th level and entered the ranks of soul masters. Whether it was Qian Daliu, Bibidong, Guan and Gui Mai, they were all shocked by Huang's evil cultivation speed. An 11-year-old soul master, even the Wuhan Hall with a history of 10,000 years had never appeared before. At this time, Qian Daliu's proud angel clanate 20th level soul power was somewhat inferior to Huang. Huang's cultivation speed was too fast, and he had exceeded the soul power level of most members of the ZEU team, and was only 2 levels behind Yan. Tandu Empire, Zhengdu Great Forest. Guan led Huang here to hunt soul beasts with the 4th soul ring. This was Huang's first time in Zhengdu Great Forest. The atmosphere here was obviously much more solemn than those artificial captive soul hunting forests. The soul beasts in the Zhengdu Great Forest are all wild, and their personalities are much more ferocious than those in captivity. Not long after entering the forest, he had already encountered 3 waves of soul masters who were injured by soul beasts and hurriedly left the Zhengdu Great Forest. After Qian Daliu's certification, he believed that Huang already had the ability to absorb the 10,000-year soul ring, so he asked the scouts of the Spirit Hall to prepare a 10,000-year soul beast Purple Crystal Lion King for him. The scouts only found the approximate range of activities, and the specific location still needed Guan and Huang to search carefully. This Zhengdu Great Forest is too dangerous, and weak soul masters will not come here without a leader. Along the way, Huang picked a lot of rare herbs. He planned to give these herbs to Lingaling when he went to Tandu City in the future. The Zhengdu Forest is really too big. It took Guan and Huang 3 days to walk from the forest to the activity area of the 10,000-year soul beast. This is still the shortest route that the scouts of the Spirit Hall had explored in advance. If other soul masters came in, I am afraid they would not be able to get here even if they spent twice as much time. The 2 arrived at the area marked on the map, and Guan took Huang to fly directly to look for the figure of the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King. When Guan and Huang flew over a forest, a roar like a muffled thunder came from not far away. Then, a Purple Crystal Winged Lion King with wings, purple scales all over its body, a spiral horn on its ferocious lion head, about 7 or 8 meters long, flapped a pair of purple wings, and took off into the air, blocking the 2 people's way. Roar! The Purple Crystal Winged Lion King opened its fang-filled mouth and let out a loud roar again. Purple flames also rose from the spiral horns, trying to scare off Guan and Huang who invaded its territory. The wisdom of the 10,000-year level soul beast is very high, and it has already sensed a strong breath of danger from Guan. It tried to use deterrence to force the 2 to leave its territory, but it miscalculated this time. Guan came for it, so how could he give up? 6th soul skill, Golden Core with Flowing Clouds. In order to make it easier for Huang to absorb it later, Guan planned to torture it severely first. The sky was covered with chrysanthemum petals, which turned into sharp blades and poured down towards the position of the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King like a meteor shower. Scars were left on the body of the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King. Dealing with a 10,000-year soul beast was a piece of cake for Guan. After 3 rounds of chrysanthemum rain, the skin of the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King was no longer intact. The expression in his eyes also changed from the initial fierce resentment to the current sorrow and pleading. There was nothing wrong with Guan killing soul beasts like this, and Huang, who was standing by, did not think it was wrong. Humans and soul beasts have been incompatible since ancient times. If you want to successfully absorb soul rings, you should not have mercy. After the 4th round of chrysanthemum rain, the eyes of the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King were dim. Huanger, you can absorb it now. Guan looked at the dying Purple Crystal Winged Lion King and reminded Huang that he could take action. Hearing Guan's words, Huang took out a black scimitar from his soul guide and walked towards the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King. When Huang cut its throat, he clearly saw a look of relief flashing in the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King's eyes. When the inky black soul ring rose from the body of the Purple Crystal Winged Lion King, Huang hurriedly sat down on the ground and guided the soul ring to cover his body. In an instant, A huge torrent of energy poured into Huang's body from the top of his head. The soul ring energy of a 10,000-year soul beast is not comparable to that of a 1,000-year soul beast. Even Huang's body was torn again and again. Perhaps Guan's abuse had worn away the resentment of the purple crystal-winged Lion King, so its soul impact was extremely weak and did not cause any trouble to Huang at all. This time the absorption time was obviously longer than the previous times. After 4 hours, Huang completely refined this soul ring and absorbed it into his body. Huanger, did you get the soul skill of that ability this time? Guan looked at Huang anxiously. Most soul masters only know that the purple crystal-winged Lion King can kill enemies by firing purple fire from its horn, but they don't know that it has another more powerful ability, which is the forbidden air. Second master, the wish has come true, Huang replied with a smile on his face. Haha, with this soul skill, Huang is equivalent to grasping the air supremacy. In the future, those flying soul masters of the agile attack system will only be courting death if they want to sneak attack him. Second master, are we going back to Wuhan City now? Not going back to Wuhan City yet. There will be an auction in Tangdu City in the next few days. I will take you to visit and open your eyes. Then Guan changed the subject and said again, by the way, you can also go to the medical clinic and send the herbs you picked along the way to your girlfriend Lingaling in Wuhan City. Perhaps because they are both top-level plant-type soul masters, Guan has a particularly good impression of Lingaling. In his heart, he never forgets to want Lingaling to become the daughter-in-law of the Yi family. Chapter 63 Eternal Mange Kyo Sharingan. Having not seen Lingaling for several years, Huang still missed this kind girl. For the sake of Lingaling's safety and to reduce the number of times she went to various soul-hunting forests to collect herbs, Huang frantically collected herbs in the Xingdu Great Forest for 7 days. It was not until his soul guide was filled with various herbs and could no longer hold them that he left contentedly. The two walked out of the Xingdu Great Forest and came to a nearby post station. They hired a luxury carriage and set off in the direction of Tangdu City. Not long after they set off, Huang heard a system prompt sound that surprised him. Your frog baby is back before dying. As soon as the prompt sound fell, the frog baby before dying jumped into the carriage. But before Huang could be happy, he saw a black shadow flashing in front of him, and the weak frog baby was kicked out of the carriage by Guan. Alas, small animals are getting more and more rampant nowadays. They are not afraid of strangers at all. Such a small guy dares to get on human carriages openly. Guan had never seen the frog baby before. He thought it was just an ordinary small animal. Driver, stop the car. Stop the car quickly. Huang ignored Guan's nagging and jumped off the carriage and anxiously searched along the road. If anything happened to the frog baby, Huang would not even have time to cry. After walking back 10 steps, Huang found the figure of the baby in the grass by the roadside. He hurriedly stepped forward and hugged the baby who was struggling with his limbs upside down in his arms and examined him carefully. Fortunately, Guan's kick was not very strong, and the frog baby was not injured. Huang was greatly relieved. When Huang jumped off the carriage in panic, Guan followed closely behind him for fear that something would happen to him. He had never seen Huang look so panicked. It was not until Huang picked up the little frog that Guan saw his face return to normal. I'm sorry, Huanger. I didn't know he was your pet. I thought. It's okay, second master. You didn't mean it. Look, isn't it fine? Seeing Guan's embarrassment, Huang hurried forward to persuade him, and shook the frog in front of him. Huang doesn't bear grudges, but that doesn't mean the frog doesn't bear grudges. When enemies meet, they are particularly jealous. Looking at Guan who kicked him out of the carriage just now, the kid made a gurgling curse, and directly pulled out the iron sword from his waist, waving it randomly, as if he was going to fight to the death. Huh, what a smart pet. This wisdom is no less than that of a 100,000-year-old soul beast. Huanger is already a monster. I didn't expect that the pet he raised is also a monster. What kind of person raises what kind of pet? Looking at the raging kid, Guan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. The two people and the frog walked into the carriage again and set off again. After getting on the car, the frog boy's anger had not dissipated. and he looked at Yu Guan with an expression that was indifferent. But when Huang signaled Yu Guan to take out the marinated soul beast meat from the soul guide, the frog boy suddenly changed from a cold frog to a dog-licking frog. In order to get the food, he even made all kinds of funny movements without any bottom line to win Yu Guan's favor. This soul beast meat is a tonic. After the frog boy ate it, a red energy aura suddenly emanated from his body. The well-fed frog boy patted his bulging white belly with satisfaction. The look in his eyes when he looked at Yu Guan was no longer hateful. After eating and drinking, it was time to start a new journey. Of course, before it left the carriage, it did not forget to bring back the souvenirs it brought to Huang from this journey. A pleasant system prompt sound rang in Huang's ears again. Ding dong. Your froglet entered the Naruto world before dying and watched the whole process of Sasuke using the eternal Mange Kyo Sharingan to kill White Zetsu in 1 second. I have reproduced the eternal Mange Kyo Sharingan for you. Would you like to receive it or put it in the warehouse? Receive it. Receive it immediately. Huang hurriedly gave orders to the froglet in his sea of consciousness. A warm breath flowed into Huang's eyes, and then his eyes seemed to have received the top massage. Huang was so comfortable that he almost cried out. After a long while, the warmth disappeared, and Huang slowly opened his eyes. In an instant, 3 pairs of Magatama appeared in Huang's eyes. The Magatama rotated, connected head to tail, and a strange golden hexagonal pattern appeared in Huang's eyes. At this moment, Huang felt that his vision instantly improved a lot, and everything around him became clear. Not a single slight change escaped his eyes. This eternal Mange Kyo Sharingan consumes mental power. Huang tried it and found that with his current mental power, he could only control the ability of the 3-tip Sharingan. Along the way, Huang kept his eyes closed to comprehend the various abilities of the Sharingan. It is normal for a soul master to practice without eating for a few days. Yu Guan was not worried at all. He didn't wake Huang until the carriage arrived at Wuhan City. Huanger, we have arrived at Wuhan City. You should get off the car. Okay, second master. Huang opened his eyes, and the strange pattern in his eyes disappeared instantly. The moment Huang opened his eyes, Yu Guan keenly felt that a strong mental power fluctuation appeared on Huang's body. But when Yu Guan wanted to investigate, it disappeared rapidly. Is it an illusion? Yu Guan shook his head in confusion. Huang pulled open the door curtain of the carriage and found that the carriage was actually parked not far from Yiling's clinic. Just like last time, Yu Guan waited for Huang to get off the carriage and asked the coachman to drive the carriage away quickly. Huang shook his head helplessly, tidied his clothes, and walked towards the clinic slowly. After not seeing each other for 4 years, Huang was still a little nervous. But when Huang walked to the front of the clinic and looked at Yiling through the glass, his nervous heart gradually calmed down. When Huang walked to the front of the clinic, it seemed that there was an inexplicable force guiding Yiling to look outside the clinic. When she raised her head, she happened to meet Huang's gaze. In an instant, the two of them laughed at the same time. This smile was very familiar. Although they hadn't seen each other for 4 years, it was the same as before. Brother Huang, you said you would come to see me in a few days. It seems that you have been a little long in a few days. The people who were seeing the doctor in the clinic showed a look of surprise on their faces, as if they had seen something incredible. They also secretly speculated about the origin of the young man in front of them, who could make Yiling, an iceberg beauty, happy. You know, even the current crown prince of Tandu Empire, Zhu King, didn't get this kind of treatment when he came here. Wait a moment, I'll finish and we'll go eat. I'll help. Men and women working together don't get tired, and the several patients in the store were quickly seen. Yiling quickly hung up the closing sign. Chapter 64 Encounter. As night fell, the lights in Tandu City slowly rose, illuminating the entire city. Various shouts were heard one after another, even more lively than during the day. Yiling's temperament was originally cold. Apart from practicing and seeing a doctor every day, she had almost no communication with other people. Suddenly facing this crowded environment, she was still a little uncomfortable in her heart. Just follow me closely. Huang obviously saw Yiling's nervousness and naturally took her hand. At this moment, Yiling seemed to have found her backbone, and her nervous mood gradually calmed down. Huang led Ling to squeeze through piles of crowded people and finally came to a bustling snack street. Although they had passed the crowded place, Ling still did not let go of Huang's hand. The two of them walked hand in hand slowly into the snack street. There are many special snacks on this street. Huang was only concerned with cultivation along the way. At this time, smelling the fragrance in the air, his stomach had already started to growl non-stop. "Sister Ling, I'll treat you to grilled squid." Seeing a grilled squid stall that was doing a booming business in front of him, he hurriedly took Ling's hand and walked over. The Tandu Empire is an inland area, far away from the ocean. It is not easy to eat something from the ocean in Tandu City. Although the grilled squid is expensive, the business is extremely hot, and there is a long line in front of this stall. Ling held Huang's hand and waited quietly. She didn't care what to eat, but she cared who she ate with. Fortunately, the grilled squid stall was big enough, and it was their turn after waiting for a while. "Boss, grill 2 squids for me, one with spicy sauce and one without." "Okay, please sit over here and wait for a moment, master and madam, it will be ready soon." Huang's polite words made the shopkeeper feel very friendly, and he quickly picked out the 2 largest squids from the side and grilled them on the iron plate. Hearing the shopkeeper's address, Huang was thick-skinned, but Ling blushed. The two sat at the table and waited. After a while, 2 fragrant iron plate squids were placed in front of them. "Sister Ling, which one do you want?" "I want this one." Ling pointed to the squid covered with chili. "Are you sure?" Huang looked at Ling with doubt on his face. He didn't expect Ling to have such a strong taste. "Sure." "Here." Huang put the spicy squid in front of Ling. Fearing that Ling couldn't bear it, Huang poured her a glass of cold water and put it beside her. He picked up the non-spicy squid and started eating it. Ling obviously underestimated her fighting ability. After just a few bites, her whole mouth was spicier and she lost consciousness. Fine beads of sweat oozed out of her forehead, and her pink tongue stuck out and kept fanning with her hands. She looked very cute at this time. It wasn't until she drank a glass of cold water that the spiciness in her mouth was suppressed. "You still don't believe me when I say you can't eat it. Give me this and I'll order you another non-spicy one." "Shameful waste." Huang directly brought the spicy squid that Ling had eaten a few bites of to himself. Seeing that Huang didn't dislike what she had eaten, Ling was secretly happy in her heart. "No need to order anymore, I'll eat yours." Ling pulled down Huang's hand, which he had just raised to greet the store owner. She brought the non-spicy squid that Huang had just eaten a few bites of to herself. "Sister Ling, this is what I ate." "Wait a minute, I'll order you a new one." "No need. You don't dislike me, so how can I dislike you?" "I want to eat yours." Ling's words unconsciously carried a hint of coquetry. Huang was stunned. "Eat it quickly, it will get cold soon." Obviously, she herself realized the ambiguity in her words just now, and hurriedly lowered her head to eat the squid in front of her. "Okay." Since Ling said so, Huang didn't dwell on it. After what happened just now, the relationship between the two has taken another step forward. In the following period of time, Ling was no longer shy, and her face was more and more tender. Suddenly, Ling's eyes were attracted by a group of children not far away who were surrounded by candied haws. Now she is 12 years old, which is considered an adult in Douluo continent. Of course, she is embarrassed to compete with other furry children. Ling was still thinking about waiting for these furry children to leave before buying, but seeing that there were fewer and fewer candied haws on the pole, she felt a little anxious. "Sister Ling, do you want to eat candied haws?" "Well, my mother often bought them for me when I was young." Ling was still a little embarrassed when Huang saw through her little thoughts. "Wait, I'll buy them for you." Huang patted the back of Ling's hand to comfort her, and turned to walk towards the place where candied haws were sold. After a while, Huang came back with a string of colorful candied haws. This candied haws was so popular with children that when Huang walked to the place where candied haws were sold, all the candied haws were sold out. In desperation, he finally spent several times the price to buy one from a child. Ling happily took the candied haws from Huang, but she didn't eat it herself. Instead, she held it to Yi Huang's mouth. "Brother Yi Huang, you eat first." "I don't want to eat it." "You eat it." "No, you eat it first." It was the most difficult to accept the favor of a beautiful woman. Under Yi Lingling's repeated insistence, Yi Huang had to bite off a hawthorn ball first. After Yi Huang ate the first hawthorn ball, Yi Lingling stretched out her little tongue like a child to lick the sugar stains on the outside, and then opened her cherry mouth to bite off the hawthorn ball. Then she held the candied haws to Yi Huang's mouth again, and the two of them ate it happily. When the two of them tried all the snacks on the street, it was already late at night. Yi Lingling hadn't been so happy for a long time. It was not until they reached the end of this food street that the two walked back with reluctance. Yi Lingling was exhausted after seeing a doctor and shopping all day. Yi Huang quickly volunteered to carry her back to the clinic. Yi Lingling was no longer the Yi Lingling of 4 years ago. Her body had developed to perfection. When Yi Huang carried her on his back, the bun in front of Yi Lingling kept rubbing against his back, which made Yi Huang feel distracted. It was also the first time for Yi Lingling to experience this kind of feeling that she couldn't stop. Her breathing was a little faster than usual. "Sister Lingling, I'll go back to the hotel first. See you tomorrow." In order to avoid embarrassment to each other, Yi Huang left the clinic in a hurry after saying a few words and fled back to the booked hotel. Chapter 65 Auction. The next day, Yi Huang set out early to pick up Yi Lingling. Yi Huang was already 11 years old, and was only 1 year away from the age of adulthood stipulated by Douluo continent. As he grew older, his desires became stronger and stronger. Last night's little Yinny made Yi Huang upset, and he didn't fall asleep until dawn. Today is the annual auction of the Tandu Empire, and the bidders come from all over Douluo continent, so just after dawn, there were bursts of horse hooves outside. These horse hooves and the shouts of the grooms mixed together, making Yi Huang unable to sleep at all. When Yi Huang walked to the clinic, Yi Lingling was waiting at the door early. She wore a purple tube-top miniskirt with a pair of long boots today. Looking at Yi Lingling's slender legs and the white and tender hemispheres revealed outside the tube top, Yi Huang's head was instantly clear, and the sleepiness of last night was swept away. "Sister Lingling, you look so beautiful today." Yi Huang did not hesitate to praise her. Yi Lingling was extremely happy to receive the praise from her beloved. "Let's go." The happy Yi Lingling took the initiative to hold Yi Huang's arm, and the two walked towards the auction house in Tandu City. It didn't take long for the two to walk in front of a circular building about 70 to 80 meters high. The 7 gilded characters Tandu Royal Auction House appeared in front of Yi Huang. This is the venue of the auction. The auction will start at 12 noon. However, due to the large number of soul masters and nobles participating in the auction, in order to avoid congestion, all VIPs participating in the auction can enter the auction house 2 hours in advance. While Yi Huang was waiting for Yu Guan at the door, he carefully observed the rules for entering the auction house. Yu Guan's figure did not appear until the auction was about to start. After meeting Yu Guan, the three of them walked towards the door of the auction house. Seeing the 3 people coming, the 2 rows of young ladies standing at the entrance of the auction house in cool clothes hurriedly saluted. "Welcome to the Tandu Royal Auction House." When they saluted, a group of white and tender bodies came into Yi Huang's sight without any cover. After entering the entrance, the customer service at the front desk immediately came to greet them. "Hello, distinguished guests. Are you going to verify your capital or your soul?" While waiting for Yu Guan, Yi Huang also figured out the conditions for entering the auction house. The so-called capital verification means that you must provide proof of assets of more than 1 million. As for the soul verification, it means showing your soul power. As long as you have a cultivation level above Soul Emperor, you can enter. Verify your capital. Yu Guan directly took out a black card with nothing on it from the soul guide. "Ah, black card." Looking at the card that Yu Guan placed on the front desk, the faces of the staff who were sitting in the office suddenly changed, and they all stood up in fear. This black card is the symbol of a titled Buo. This means that the middle-aged man in front of him is not a titled Buo, but a direct relative of a titled Buo. This is not something that ordinary people like them can offend. As the existence at the top of the pyramid of Buo continent, titled Douluo has a dedicated VIP channel and private room no matter which auction house they enter. I didn't know it was your majesty who came. Please forgive me, your majesty. Please follow me through the VIP channel to the private room. The supervisor at the front desk reacted in advance. No, I'll just sit in the ordinary audience seats. Don't tell your superiors about my coming. Huang directly rejected the supervisor's kindness. Don't worry. I will make them shut up and pretend that they haven't seen you. Please. Seeing Huang and the other two wearing masks and walking into the auction hall, the supervisor at the front desk was greatly relieved. When they walked into the auction hall, except for the seats in the corner, the good seats were occupied by other people. The three of them also found a seat and sat down. In order not to disturb the two young people, he chose to sit down 2 seats away from Huang. When the big clock in the auction hall rang 12 times, the lights in the entire hall immediately turned around and concentrated on the center of the stage. A host with a pair of wings behind him flew onto the stage with a microphone. The already noisy auction hall instantly became quiet. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tandu Royal Auction House. I wish all the distinguished guests here can come empty-handed and return satisfied. Today we are auctioning not only the rare treasures and soul bones displayed in the books in the hands of the distinguished guests, but also a treasure from the ancient ruins. There is a treasure from the ancient ruins. Wow, this auction is worth it. This thing from the ancient ruins must be a chicken rib. Otherwise, would the Tandu Royal Auction House be willing to auction it? Everyone whispered to each other, and the atmosphere on the scene was immediately set off to the peak. Second Master, what is this ancient ruins? Huang and Ling both heard this name for the first time. Legend has it that this ancient ruins is an alien space left behind during the Dragon God War. There are rare treasures left in it from the ancient times. These ancient ruins will randomly appear in a corner of Douluo continent every 50 years. However, the conditions for entering the ancient ruins are too harsh. So every time the treasures that flow out of it become the focus of competition among various forces. While Huang was popularizing the knowledge of the ancient ruins to the two, the first auction item on the stage had been carried up by 4 big men. The first auction item this time is the sea soul shark, a century-old soul beast from the deep sea. The host stepped forward to unveil the curtain, and a large fish tank was displayed in front of everyone. A ferocious shark kept hitting the walls of the fish tank. Seeing this ferocious shark, many nobles in the audience were full of interest. They never lacked money, but they lacked props to have fun. If they could keep such a thing at home, they would have more entertainment projects in their lives, such as human shark battles and human shark races. Sea soul shark. The starting price is 10,000 gold and silver coins, and each increase is not less than 1,000 gold soul coins, 15,000 gold soul coins. Before the host finished speaking, a rich businessman sitting in the ordinary seat raised the price by 5,000. The people at the scene were all rich people. After a while, the price of this sea soul shark was raised to 50,000 gold soul coins. When the price reached 70,000 gold soul coins, only a rich businessman in the VIP seat was bidding. This is just an appetizer. The price has been raised so high. Huang couldn't help but sigh that the gap between the rich and the poor in Douluo continent is really big. The money that a rich businessman spends on a toy can feed countless ordinary people. As the small hammer in the host's hand fell on the table, the first auction item came to a perfect end. The auction items were brought to the stage one by one, and the atmosphere on the scene became more and more heated. The next auction item is a map of unknown material. Legend has it that it is a secret of a hidden sect. Hearing the host's words, Huang also raised his head and looked at the map projected on the big screen. Chapter 66, Angry at Prince Snow. There was an old tree with twisted branches drawn on the map. Under the old tree were words that did not belong to Douluo continent. Huang carefully observed it for a long time, but he did not find out what was so valuable about this map. But when Huang turned his head to Ling beside him, he found that she was staring at the map on the screen with red eyes. Before Huang could ask, Ling excitedly grabbed his hands. Brother Huang, you must help me take a picture of this map. As long as you can take a picture of this map, I will agree to anything you ask. Looking at the map in front of him, Ling was like a demon. no longer as calm as usual. Okay, don't worry. I'll take a picture for you. Huang was not short of money. Seeing Ling so excited, he was also very curious about what secrets this map held. The starting price of this map is 20,000 gold soul coins, and there is no limit to the price increase each time. After waiting for a few minutes, the host directly announced the auction price of this map. The auctioneer obviously did not think highly of the value of this map, so he only marked a reserve price. Hearing the host's offer, the audience and the ordinary audience seats all made a loud noise and pricked up their ears to see which fool would spend money to buy this map whose authenticity was unknown. 20,000 gold soul coins. As soon as the host finished speaking, Huang was the first to raise the bid board in his hand. In an instant, all kinds of mocking eyes looked in the direction of Huang's position. Hearing Huang's offer, the host's eyes lit up instantly. He originally thought that this item would fail to sell, but he didn't expect a fool to come out. 20,000 gold soul coins. This VIP bid 20,000 gold soul coins. Is there any more? 30,000 gold soul coins. The bid board in box number 2 lit up immediately. Wow, this time the entire auction hall was in an uproar. Those who frequently visit the auction house know that this box number 2 is the exclusive box of Ning Fengzi, the leader of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect. The 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect is famous in Douluo continent for its treasure appraisal. The things he likes must be good things. As soon as the quotation board in box number 2 went out, other people started to bid. The golden mouth of this leader Ning is a guarantee of quality. Only a fool would not bid. Although these VIPs sitting in ordinary seats have little hope, it does not hinder their enthusiasm for bidding. Everyone has dreams. What if they succeed? In a short while, this unknown map was pushed to a high price of 100,000 gold soul coins. At this time, Ning Fengzi, who was in box number 2, saw the situation in front of him and showed a helpless expression. Fengzi, it seems that you will not be able to pick up bargains in the auction house in the future. Look, you just offered a price just now, and the others started to fight for it like cats smelling blood. Jian Luo joked beside him. Uncle Jian, I'm not sure this is a treasure. I just think the words below are not seen before. I thought it wouldn't cost much, so I planned to buy it and study it. I didn't expect it to be like this. Although Ning Fengzi stopped bidding, the others showed no intention of stopping. After a while, the price of this unknown broken map was raised to 200,000 gold soul coins. It was much higher than the total price of all the previous auction items. 250,000 gold soul coins. Seeing that fewer and fewer people were bidding, a sound like a broken gong came from box number 9. As soon as this sound came out, the other VIPs competing for the map immediately shut up. In the Tandu Empire, the only one who can be so shameless is Prince Zhu crossing. Hearing Zhu Xing's voice, Ning Fengzi in box number 2 couldn't help but frown, and Jian Guo beside Ning Fengzi even expressed his dissatisfaction. Zhu Xing, that bastard, is breaking the rules again. You know, in order to avoid using their power to pressure others, these prominent figures in the box can only press the quotation board in front of them. Zhu Xing shouted so openly, obviously warning other VIPs to stop. A wealthy businessman from another place who didn't know what was going on was about to raise his sign when he was stopped by his friend next to him. Old Wang, do you want to die? You still want to take food from Prince Zhu's mouth at this time? Don't you want to leave Tandu City? When he heard that it was Prince Zhu who spoke just now, the wealthy businessman who was about to raise the sign hurriedly threw the sign aside. Although he had never seen Zhu Xing, he had heard about Zhu Xing's despicable deeds from his friends around him. The VIP in box number 9 bid 250,000. Is there any higher than this? The host knew that the price for today would end when Prince Zhu made the offer. Seeing that no one bid, the host did not delay anymore. 250,000 gold soul coins for the first time. 250,000 gold soul coins for the second time. 250,000 gold soul coins for the third time. Okay. The small hammer in the host's hand was about to fall. At this juncture, a slow voice broke the silence of the auction hall. 250,001 gold soul coins. When everyone at the scene heard this voice, the first feeling was that this person had a grudge with Prince Zhu. Otherwise, Who would choose to bid when the host dropped the hammer? Even if they bid, who would only offer one more gold soul coin than the opponent? This is obviously a toad lying on the instep of Prince Zhu. If it doesn't poison him, it will disgust him to death. In fact, these people at the scene really misunderstood Huang. He just thought that if he could do it with $1, he would not spend $1.01. Prince Zhu has used this method to intercept Ning Fengzi several times and made a lot of gold soul coins. He thought that he could make a lot of money again by repeating the same trick this time, but he didn't expect that Cheng Yejin would show up halfway. His face suddenly became gloomy. He didn't expect that there would be someone in Tandu City who dared to lose face in public. Go check where this kid came from. If he has no power, just find a reason to put him in jail. If he is a disciple of some power, contact Jugubo and let him take action. After keeping this old guy all day, it's time to let him out and let him do something. At this time, Zhu Xing had already regarded Yi Huang as a thorn in his side. This VIP bid 250,001 gold soul coins. Is there any higher price than this? As soon as the host's words came out, all the guests in the hall looked towards the direction of box number 9, wanting to see how the old guy Prince Zhu would respond. At this time, he was in a dilemma. If he made an offer, he was afraid that Yi Huang was a shill and he would lose everything. If he didn't make an offer, he was afraid that others would say he was a coward. Chapter 67, Big Brothers Come Together to Help. 260,000 gold soul coins. Prince Zhu thought for a moment and gritted his teeth to quote a price. In his heart, he imagined that this was just a prank by his colleagues. But his idea was dashed. Yi Huang's subsequent offer made his heart sink to the bottom and his whole face twisted. 260,001 gold soul coins. Haha, one gold soul coin, another gold soul coin. Everyone present unanimously believed that Yi Huang must have deliberately picked a fight with Zhu Crossing. Everyone was randomly guessing what kind of deep hatred Yi Huang and Zhu Xing had, and why they were so stubborn at this juncture. For a time, all kinds of rumors quickly fermented in the auction house. Which bastard is looking for trouble with me? If you have the guts, take off your mask and let me see you. Zhu Xing, who was furious, ignored the rules of the auction house and directly opened the window of the box and yelled at the place where Yi Huang was sitting. Prince Zhu, the treasures in the auction house are originally for the highest bidder. You have not only violated the rules of the auction house, but also damaged the reputation of the Tandu royal family. Ning Fengzi, who was always calm, could no longer bear it and said sarcastically, Zhu Xing, you old dog are really shameless. People who know you know that you are a prince, and those who don't know you think you are a bandit leader from some mountain. Jianluo was not as obscure as Ning Fengzi, and he cursed Zhu Xing directly in the face. As soon as Jianluo finished speaking, the familiar voices of many nobles came from box number 3 again. The state teacher is right. What Prince Zhu did damage the majesty of the royal family. I will report to His Majesty in the morning court tomorrow and ask His Majesty to make a decision. This is the voice of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Zhu King. The auction house was boiling again. They didn't expect that such a small matter would involve so many bigwigs. Some nobles with a keen sense of politics even regarded Yi Huang as a gun in Zhu King's hand. It's no wonder they think so. Prince Zhu has always been in the same boat with the fourth prince who always scolds and beats chickens and dogs. It's reasonable for Zhu King to use this opportunity to set a trap to attack Zhu Crossing. It's not just those clever nobles who have such ideas. Even Ning Fengzi and Jianluo Chengsen in box number 2 think so. Now with the support of Ning Fengzi and Zhu King, those sitting in the VIP seats also took this opportunity to vent their dissatisfaction with Zhu Crossing. An auction instantly turned into a denunciation meeting for Zhu Crossing. The crazy things that Zhu Xing has done in recent years have been completely turned over by everyone. Fengzi, you taught well. King's methods are getting more and more sophisticated. It's really a quick move to hit Zhu Xing's prestige in front of so many nobles and wealthy businessmen. Gossip can melt gold, and accumulated criticism can destroy bones. Now Zhu Xing, this old dog, is like yellow mud falling into the crotch. It's shit or shit. I can't explain it clearly. Seeing so many people denouncing Zhu Xing, Jianluo Chenzhen, who never praised anyone except his little princess, actually praised Zhu King for the first time. "Uncle Jian, you are too kind. King is smart, quick to learn, and has made great efforts." Ning Fengzi felt happier when Jian Yuochenzin praised Zhu King than when he praised himself. "You bastard, I admit defeat, you wait." Seeing the situation getting more and more intense, Zhu Xing no longer dared to be arrogant. He just said a harsh word and stopped talking. Everyone thought that this was Zhu King's trick. Only Zhu King himself knew that the reason he spoke out in support was not to attack Zhu Xing, but because he saw the half-moon ring and the jade ring on Yi Huang's thumb when he raised the sign. 260,001 gold soul coins. Is there a higher price than this? Even Sect Master Ning is optimistic about this treasure. Don't you feel it's a pity to miss it? Seeing that Zhu Xing stopped bidding, the host encouraged everyone again, hoping that everyone could raise the price of this map again and earn more commissions. Everyone was not stupid. Now they all believed that this farce was set up by Prince Zhu King. If they raised the price again at this time, it would be a slap in Zhu King's face. Having just offended Zhu Xing, and offending Zhu King again, only a fool would do this unless he didn't want to stay in the Tandu Empire. 260,001 gold soul coins for the first time. 260,001 gold soul coins for the second time. 260,001 gold soul coins for the third time. Deal. Congratulations to this distinguished guest for winning this mysterious map. The guests present lost interest in this map, and the host quickly dropped the hammer in his hand. The auction continued, but after what happened just now, all the guests present were much more cautious in bidding, and there was no more increase of tens of thousands of gold soul coins at a time. It was already midnight, and the guests present were beginning to feel tired after a long period of bidding, and some even began to doze off in their seats. However, the host came down to announce an auction item, which made all the guests energetic and all sleepiness disappeared. The following is the finale item of this auction: the 10,000-year-old Wind Wolf right leg bone soul bone. In order to achieve a better effect, the lights of the entire auction hall were instantly turned off, leaving only a bright green swaying on the stage. The starting price is 5 million gold soul coins, and there is no limit to the increase each time. Soul bones from Douluo continent are already rare. Although this soul bone is only 10,000 years old, it is also the focus of competition among major forces, and there is no need to set a minimum increase. 5.5 million, 6 million. Sure enough, before the host finished speaking, the bids below began to refresh the record. In a short while, the price of this soul bone had reached 20 million gold soul coins. This price has eliminated 90% of the VIPs present, but at this time, all the big shots in the boxes still hadn't spoken. When the price of the Wind Wolf soul bone was raised to 40 million, only 2 people were left on the scene to make bids. The 2 VIPs also became more cautious in their bids, and each time they raised the price by hundreds of thousands, and it was obvious that they were at the end of their strength. 50 million. Zhu Xing's bid in box number 9 directly eliminated the only 2 guests. 60 million. An old voice came from box number 8, which had been silent from beginning to end. 70 million. Box number 5, which belonged to the Spirit Hall, also participated in the snatch. This soul bone has now become a financial contest between these boxes. The price increase has also changed from hundreds of thousands each time to 10 million gold soul coins each time. In the end, the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Sect, the richest in the entire continent, won the soul bone with an extremely high price of 200 million gold soul coins. Chapter 68 Ancient Ruin Secret Treasure. Now, let's welcome the last item of our auction, which is a treasure from the mysterious ancient ruins. The host's voice suddenly became high. As soon as the voice fell, 2 soul kings with the spirit of the powerful gorilla drove their spirits and carried an iron box from the backstage to the stage slowly. Dong dong, dong dong. Judging from the heavy footsteps of the 2 people, the things in the iron box were obviously not light. Bang! When the 2 soul kings dropped the iron box on the stage, the VIPs in the front rows near the stage even felt the stage shaking. The host opened the iron box, and a symbol and vicissitudes of life came to the face. A thin inner armor was projected on the big screen and appeared in front of everyone. The size of this inner armor is not big, just like a 10-year-old child. I was wondering why the royal auction house was willing to bleed so much and auction things from the ancient ruins. It turned out to be this thing. Looking at the inner armor in the iron box, Ning Fengzi's face showed a look of sudden enlightenment. This dragon scale inner armor was bought by the Tandu auction house from a Solbuo who had just left the ancient ruins 300 years ago. Unexpectedly, when they bought it, they were too hasty. They only paid attention to the defensive ability of this dragon scale armor, but ignored its weight and size, and it was directly smashed in the hands of the Tandu auction house. It became a useless existence. This smashing lasted for 300 years. In the past 300 years, countless geniuses have tried to wear it, but none of them succeeded. Imagine whose child can run around in an inner armor weighing more than 2,000 kilograms when he is 11 or 12 years old. Dragon scale inner armor, a treasure of the dragon clan, invulnerable to swords and guns. According to the research of a master who studies historical materials in the Douluo continent, this inner armor should be made of the dragon slough, and it is a treasure used by dragon children to strengthen their bodies. The host's half-true and half-false words once again mobilized the enthusiasm of all the VIPs present. The VIPs who did not understand the inside story all looked at the items in the iron box eagerly. I didn't grab the soul bone just now, so it would be nice to bid this inner armor back for my children and nephews to use for body strengthening. Even if his own children and nephews don't use it, it's still a face to put it there for bragging. Host, please tell us how much this treasure is. We can't wait. Before the host made an offer, the guy in the VIP seat couldn't wait to ask. This treasure is not for sale. Not for sale. The VIP present was not happy. Why do you take it out if you don't want to sell it? Yes. Are you guys at the Tandu Royal Auction House playing us like monkeys? For a moment, the whole auction house was in chaos. Seeing such a scene, the host was not panicked, but showed a satisfied look. This was the result he wanted. We don't sell our treasures, we only give them away. The host's sonorous words spread throughout the auction house through the loudspeaker soul guide. The messy scene suddenly quieted down. Only give them away. The top management of the Tandu Royal Auction House must have gone crazy. How could they be so generous when they have always been stingy? Are you sure you only want to give it away, not sell it? The guests at the scene thought they were hallucinating and hurried to confirm. Confirmed and affirmed. The host's firm words came out, and everyone was sure that he had not said the wrong thing. There are 50,000 guests on the scene, and there is only one piece of this dragon scale armor. Who should it be given to and who should it not be given to? Another guest raised the question in his heart. Haha, this guest asked a good question. The host praised the guest who asked the question just now, and then said, as the saying goes, flowers are given to beauties, and swords are given to heroes. Today, our Tandu Royal Auction House will also follow the example of our predecessors and give a dragon scale armor to the powerful king. As long as the guests on the scene can pick up and wear this dragon scale inner armor, they can not only take away this treasure, but also get a black card from our Tandu Royal Auction House. As he said, a black card with the number 001 appeared on the screen on the scene. Looking at the code above, those who know the inside story know that this black card is the one that the Tandu Emperor held when the Tandu Royal Auction House first opened for business. This Tandu Royal Auction House is directly under the Tandu Royal family. In recent years, the Xingluo Empire Royal Auction House has become increasingly powerful. In order to recover from the disadvantage, after the secret instruction of Emperor Zhu Yi, this card was brought out as a gimmick. Anyway, no one can take this inner armor away. Fuck, this Tandu Royal Auction House has really spent a lot of money on this promotion. Not to mention the value of this inner armor. This black card alone makes the people present excited. You should know that such black cards are only available to titled Buo and the emperors of the two countries. It is a symbol of status. Not only that, if you have this card, as long as the items auctioned in all the chain stores of the Tandu Royal Auction House do not exceed 5 million in total throughout the year, they will be free. With both fame and practical benefits, anyone would be tempted. In order not to waste everyone's time, first of all, I would like to make it clear that those big and strong guests should not come up. Even if they can pick it up, they can't wear it. The host's kind and teasing words caused everyone to laugh again. Okay, I declare, We'll start with the first row of guests near the stage." As soon as the host finished speaking, a little fat man ran up from the first row. He was a little fat, but he could still put on the armor if he squeezed hard. "Martial spirit possession." A crisp voice sounded, and the martial spirit of a powerful bull demon appeared behind his body. "This is Newton, the only son of Duke Naiu. He has reached the level of a great spirit master at the age of 10. It is true that a tiger father will have a dog son." The guests who knew this child all talked about the child's origins. Bull Demon Guardian. Newton's second spirit ring lit up directly, and he reached out to grab the inner armor in the iron box. The veins in his arms bulged, and he suddenly exerted force. "Get up!" Squeak. Although Newton used all his strength, he only made the inner armor in the iron box move slightly. Seeing that even a spirit master known for his strength like Newton couldn't lift it, many children who could wear this armor at the scene backed out. There were still some children who didn't believe in it. They took turns to go on stage, but in the end they all returned empty-handed. No child could lift the armor. At this moment, a child with short black hair, slender figure and serious face walked onto the stage. This is the grandson of the old Dragon King, Yutan. Seeing the appearance of the person, there was another uproar at the scene. Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex, possessed. A dazzling blue light suddenly lit up from the center of Yutan's eyebrows. The blue light spread instantly, descending from his eyebrows to his whole body. A blue-purple dragon rose up and hovered around his body. The old Dragon King has a successor. Looking at the three best matching spirit rings on Yutan's body, 2 yellow and 1 purple, even Ning Fengzi, who was sitting in the private room, sighed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69 Dragon Scale Inner Armor. The discussion of the guests around him had no effect on Newton. Transform into a dragon. He let out a low roar. Tear. A sound of clothes tearing was heard, and his right arm, which was the same as a normal person's, suddenly swelled, and the joints on his arm became extremely thick. The changes continued, and blue-purple scales slowly appeared on the surface of his right arm, and his 5 fingers became like the claws of a giant dragon. What was even more strange was that the 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple, that had been hovering on his body, actually changed their positions and moved directly to his mutated arm. "Get up!" The thick right arm grabbed the dragon scale inner armor in the iron box as fast as lightning. The inner armor that had not been picked up was slowly lifted up by this grab. "It's up, come and see." The people at the scene were immediately excited. Their eyes were fixed on Yutan's right arm. The inner armor slowly moved upwards, and Yutan's face became worse and worse. Beads of sweat kept dripping from his forehead, and the mutated right arm began to tremble. Third soul skill, the Wrath of Thunder. An angry dragon roar echoed in the auction hall. Yutan's right arm swelled again, and the number of lightning snakes on it also doubled suddenly. He took the entire inner armor out of the iron box. Yutan grabbed the inner armor tightly with both hands, trying to lift it up and put it on his body. But he had consumed too much soul power just now, and he failed after several attempts. Bang! After exhausting his strength, the inner armor slipped from his hands and fell into the iron box again. Alas, it was almost successful. What a pity! Seeing that Yutan did not succeed, everyone's faces showed regret. Even a genius like Yutan did not succeed. The others still had self-knowledge and did not want to go on stage to embarrass themselves. The auction hall suddenly became cold. Are there any other VIPs coming up to try? If not, this treasure will be unsold. The host shouted hard. I'll do it. A slow voice came from the corner of the auction house. Huang stood up and slowly walked to the front of the iron box. He put his hands into the iron box and waited. He had already made a decision in his heart. Boy, come on, take this armor and cart home, and make the Tandu Royal Auction House bleed. Seeing Huang's reaction, there were encouraging words from the audience. Everyone was very friendly to this young man who had confronted Prince Zhu. Thank you. I will try to take it home. Unexpectedly, as soon as Huang finished speaking, a sarcastic voice echoed in the auction house. Haha, you, a little bastard, want to get your hands on such a treasure, and you don't even take a piss to look at yourself. Zhu Xing saw that the guy who had just lost face was the one who came on stage. When enemies meet, they are particularly jealous. Of course, they can't help but make a few sarcastic remarks. Huang is a man who eats soft but not hard. When faced with such a situation, he did not hesitate to fight back. Old dog, who are you scolding? I'll scold you. Zhu Xing had no idea that he had fallen into Huang's trap and quickly retorted, ha 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 ha. Some guests who had recalled the scene burst into laughter. Boy, you just have to stop talking. If you don't have the ability, don't show up. How do you know I don't have the ability? Do you dare to make a bet, old man? Bet? Okay, let's bet. Just tell me how to bet. As one of the shareholders of Tandu Royal Auction House, he knew the weight of this inner armor. Hearing Huang say he wanted to make a bet, his heart was already blooming with joy. He didn't believe that Huang's talent was higher than Yutan. Small bets can make people happy. Let's bet 10 million gold soul coins today. I wonder if you, old man, dare to do it? Good man, this guy has a mine at home, and he asked for 10 million. This is still a small bet. How much is the big bet? All the guests at the scene were stunned by Huang's generosity. Huang's words not only stunned the guests at the scene, but also Ning Fengzi and Qian Renxu in the box. They were looking forward to Huang's amazing performance. When Zhu Xing heard Huang say that he would bet 10 million gold soul coins, she was also shocked. This 10 million is not a small amount. Even if he took it out, it would be a big loss. Old thing, do you dare to bet? If you don't dare to bet, shut up your annoying stinky mouth in the future. Huang took advantage of the victory and didn't give him a chance to think. Bet? Of course, why shouldn't I want free money? Zhu Xing had lost her mind and was led by Huang by the nose. She had no choice at all. Okay, since you agree to the bet, let's verify the capital. Huang originally thought that he had gotten a great deal by getting the dragon scale inner armor in the black card, but he didn't expect that there would be an unexpected surprise in the end. Fearing that Zhu Xing would go back on his word, he quickly handed a purple gold card in his hand to the host. There was already a gambling business in the auction house, and Huang was not afraid that the money would go down the drain. Seeing the host signal that Zhu Xing's money had arrived, Huang did not hesitate and walked quickly to the iron box. Old thing, look carefully. Ha! Huang growled in his mouth, and the blood and energy in his body boiled up. The host next to him felt a strong heat coming towards him. Get it up for me. Huang quickly lifted the heavy inner armor out of the iron box, turned it around, and put it on at a very fast speed. This action was done in one go, and many audiences and the audience even suspected that Huang was holding a fake inner armor. The entire auction house suddenly became quiet. Such a powerful blood and energy. Ning Fengzi, who had been calm in the box, suddenly stood up in shock. Zhu Xing collapsed directly to the ground. Host, have I succeeded in the challenge now? Huang asked the host, who had not yet recovered from his shock. Congratulations to this guest. This dragon scale inner armor belongs to you from this moment on. Soon, the black card numbered 001 and the money won from Zhu Xing were quickly delivered to Huang. There was a warm applause at the scene. This is the respect of the soul masters of the Tandu continent to the strong. After the auction ended and the treasure was in hand, Huang directly gestured to Yu Guan and Yi Lingling, and the three of them met up and went directly to get the map they had auctioned. Distinguished guest, please come this way. Seeing Huang and the other two coming over, a waitress with an excellent figure and appearance hurried over to greet them. Huang is now the owner of a black card, and they dare not neglect him. When the three of them walked to the backstage box, the map he had taken a picture of had been taken out and placed on the table. Please inspect the goods, VIP. As soon as the waitress finished speaking, Yi Lingling couldn't wait to walk forward and picked up the map to examine it carefully. Yes, this is the map. Hearing Yi Lingling confirm that this map was the one she was looking for, the three of them did not linger and quickly left the Tandu Royal Auction House through the VIP channel. Chapter 70. Boy, man, The auction at Douluo Royal Auction House is over. If we talk about who is the biggest winner of this auction, it is obviously Huang. Although Huang made the most profit, he also offended Prince Xuxing, and made Douluo Royal Auction House suffer a loss. Don't think that Douluo Royal Auction House generously give the inner armor and black card to Huang. That is because they have not yet found out his true identity. This group of people will definitely not give up, as Huang expected. Not long after the three of them walked out of the auction house from the VIP channel, Huang felt that there were a few strangers behind them, following them. Huang, take Lingaling away first. I'll deal with it. Huang instructed Huang and disappeared in front of the two. After a while, Huang appeared beside the two again as if nothing had happened. The sneaky guy who had just followed the three people also disappeared. Sister Lingaling, don't go back today. Stay in the hotel with me. Although Huang dealt with the tail behind him, Huang was still a little worried about Lingaling's safety. Well, okay then. Hearing Huang's words, Lingaling didn't know what she thought of, and she seemed to have made a major decision in her heart. Because of the auction, almost all the hotels in Douluo City had signs saying full occupancy at their doors. After more than half an hour of searching, the three finally saw a luxuriously decorated hotel not far from the Imperial City. Perhaps because it was close to the Imperial City and the price was relatively expensive, there was no sign saying full occupancy at the door of the hotel. This hotel looks pretty good. Let's go in and take a look. Hello, welcome. Are you looking for accommodation? Seeing the three people come in, the front desk clerk hurried out to greet them. Hello, open 3 rooms for us, Huang said directly to the clerk without even asking the price. As soon as Huang's words came out, a trace of sadness flashed across Lingaling's face. I'm really sorry, business has been booming recently, and we only have 1 couple's room and 1 single room left. The waiter looked embarrassed. That's it, I'm tired and don't want to look for it anymore. Before Huang could reply, Huang took out his card to pay, and walked upstairs with the key to the single room. For a moment, Huang's face showed a helpless expression. Sir, madam, the room is on the 2nd floor, and its name is Enjoy the Life You Want to Enjoy. Here are the keys to the room, please keep them. The waiter took the last bunch of keys from the wall where the keys were hung and handed them to Huang. Sister Lingaling, why don't we go to another place? Fearing that Lingaling would be embarrassed, Huang hurriedly asked for her opinion as soon as they walked up the stairs. Just stay here. We've already paid the money. Wouldn't it be a waste if we don't stay here? Besides, didn't we live together before? Let's go faster. I'm tired today, too. Okay then. Since Lingaling didn't object, he didn't hesitate. He quickly quickened his pace to keep up with Lingaling. The entire 2nd floor was obviously a couple's room, and the corridor was decorated with an ambiguous atmosphere. Lingaling had never experienced such a scene before, and her face turned red instantly. When the two found the room and opened the door, Lingaling was embarrassed by the decoration inside. As expected of a couple's room, the entire room was decorated so passionately and unrestrainedly, especially the huge heart-shaped bed in the room. The various props placed on the bedside shelf made Lingaling so embarrassed that she couldn't even raise her head. Sister Lingaling, what map is that at the auction today? It looks very important to you. In order to ease the embarrassment between them, Huang quickly changed the subject. This map is indeed very important to me, because what is recorded on it is related to a shocking secret of my 9-heart Begonia clan. Everyone says that the martial spirit of my 9-heart Begonia clan is passed down from generation to generation, saying that it is the jealousy of heaven, but few people know that we are cursed by the abyss. Curse? Yes, curse. This matter is a long story. In ancient times, the Abyss clan often invaded Douluo continent. The 9-heart Begonia clan became a thorn in the eyes and flesh of the Abyss clan because of its powerful healing ability. In order to suppress the growth of the 9-heart Begonia clan, the Abyss tyrant collected the filthy water from the 9 nether abyss and combined it with the power of the curse, causing the martial spirit of my 9-heart Begonia clan to be cursed and can only be passed down from one line to another. And the fruit of life on the tree of life on this map is the only holy object that can help me lift the curse. As long as I decipher the text on it and find the tree of life, The Nine-Heart Begonia clan will regain its prosperity in ancient times. Well, I believe that Sister Ling-a-ling will definitely find the Tree of Life. Thank you, Brother Yi Huang. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have gotten this map. Yi Ling-a-ling looked at Yi Huang with gratitude. Sister Ling-a-ling, based on our relationship, don't say those polite words. If I need your help one day, I just need your help. One day in the future, the war will finally come, and Yi Ling-a-ling's martial spirit can really help a lot. Well, as long as Brother Yi Huang needs help, Yi Ling-a-ling will go through fire and water, and will not hesitate, Yi Ling-a-ling said solemnly. I also believe what my sister said. While the two were talking, a strange sound came from the next room intermittently. Yi Ling-a-ling is also a smart woman. How could she not know what this sound is? I'm going to take a shower first. Unable to bear the intrusion of this sound, Yi Ling-a-ling hurriedly found an excuse to run into the bathroom, leaving Yi Huang alone in the bedroom to suffer. With a creak, not long after, the bathroom door opened. Yi Huang subconsciously turned his head and looked, and the beautiful scenery that came into his eyes directly stunned him. A strong anger. In an instant, his throat couldn't help swallowing saliva. Brother Yi Huang, is my sister beautiful? Yi Ling-a-ling walked in front of Yi Huang, showing off her proud figure. Beautiful? Since you're so beautiful, don't you have any other ideas? Smelling the unique fragrance of Yi Ling-a-ling, Yi Huang's heart was also distracted. Sister Ling-a-ling, why are you doing this? If you want to repay a favor, you don't have to do this. Besides, for some reasons, I can't even give you happiness that belongs to you alone. Yi Huang is not a saint, although he likes this kind-hearted girl in his heart. If Yi Ling-a-ling does not like him but wants to repay a favor, he will not accept such an approach. This is not a repayment. I am willing. After so many years, you are the first boy who has walked into my heart. I know you won't stay here for a long time. I'm afraid that if I don't seize the opportunity this time, I won't have a chance when you come next time. Today I want to be your bride. Listening to Yi Ling-a-ling's affectionate confession. Chapter 71. Once again, the next morning, sunlight shone into the room through the window, and Yi Huang slowly opened his eyes. The habit he had developed over the years made him wake up on time. Looking at Yi Ling-a-ling, who was curled up in his arms like a kitten, there was more pity on his face, and a heavy sense of responsibility inexplicably appeared in his heart. Yi Huang is not a heartless person. Since he has done it, he should take on the responsibilities that a man should take. After a while, Yi Ling-a-ling also woke up from her deep sleep. Looking at Yi Huang, who was looking at her with his eyes open, a hint of shyness appeared on her face. Sister Ling-a-ling, are you awake? Yes, I'm awake. Don't worry, I will be responsible. I will take you back when we return to Wuhan City. Yi Huang's words made Yi Ling-a-ling's heart warm, and she was secretly glad that she did not make a mistake in her choice of person. Brother Yi Huang, I know you are a responsible man. Sister also knows that a man as outstanding as you will definitely not have only me as a woman. I just want to be the woman behind you silently. Yi Ling-a-ling already knew Yi Huang's identity. If she followed him back to Wuhan City, it would inevitably bring unnecessary trouble, so she directly rejected Yi Huang's suggestion to take her back to Wuhan City. Yi Huang was still thinking about persuading her, but Yi Ling-a-ling directly changed the subject. The two of them said sweet words to each other. Seeing the sun rising high, Yi Ling-a-ling also hurriedly urged to get up. There was no way. Yi Huang's master was still outside, and she didn't want Yu Guan to think she was a lazy person. Looking at Yi Ling-a-ling, who was getting dressed and exuding a strange charm, thinking of the absurd things last night, Yi Huang, who was not full, directly threw Yi Ling-a-ling on the bed again. Feeling Yi Huang's love, Yi Ling-a-ling also took the initiative to hug Yi Huang's neck and tried her best to cooperate. 2 hours later, the two of them snuggled together, revealing a satisfied expression. Yi Huang's anger these days was also exhausted. It's all your fault. I don't even have the face to see the second master, Yi Ling-a-ling complained to Yi Huang while getting up. Yi Ling-a-ling, who had just gotten up, groaned. Sister Ling-a-ling, are you feeling uncomfortable? Seeing Yi Huang's panic, Yi Ling-a-ling was very happy in her heart, but she pretended to be angry on her face. It's all because of you, you stinky guy. You don't know how to be gentle with women. Look, It's all swollen. Hee, I was wrong. I will pay attention next time. Yi Huang scratched his head and promised embarrassedly. Seeing Yi Huang's silly look, Yi Ling couldn't pretend anymore and laughed out loud. Hee, silly, big idiot. I'm just talking. I like you like this. I'm very happy. The two who had just gone through the coming-of-age ceremony had endless love words to say. When the two walked downstairs, the sun had already climbed to the top of their heads. Master, Madam, you are coming down. The master has gone out. Before he left, he told me that he would not be back for dinner today. Obviously, the waiter regarded Yu Guan as their elder. Hearing that Yu Guan had gone out, Yi Ling felt a little relieved. She didn't know how to face Yi Huang's elder. Sister Ling, you are not feeling well. Go back to your room and lie down for a while. I will go to the hotel restaurant to order some dishes and we will go back to the room to eat. Okay, I'll wait for you in the room. Yi Ling walked back to the room in a strange posture. Yi Huang also turned and walked towards the hotel restaurant. As expected of a big hotel close to the imperial city, the dishes inside are also very rich, and there are even several kinds of fish from the sea. Yi Ling lost a lot of blood last night. When Yi Huang ordered the dishes, he specially picked a few nutritious dishes. Just as Yi Huang was walking back from the restaurant with the prepared meals, a stranger in green blocked his way. Well, is there something? Yi Huang's muscles tensed up instantly, ready to fight at any time. Young master, don't misunderstand. It's one of us. Seeing Yi Huang's reaction, the green-clothed man said while taking out a token and shaking it in front of him obscurely. This is the token of the Spirit Hall's secret guard. Although it was just a flash, Yi Huang had already seen the special mark on the token clearly. The secret guard is the highest level scout arranged by the Spirit Hall's high-level officials in the Tandu Empire. Few people know about it, and Yi Huang is not afraid of him lying. Young master, someone wants to see you. Please come with me. The green-clothed secret guard hurriedly told Yi Huang the purpose of his visit. Someone wants to see me. Although the secret guard did not say who that person was, Yi Huang had already guessed it vaguely in his heart. Wait a minute, I'll take care of some personal matters first. After saying that, Yi Huang turned back to the room and told Yi Ling that he was going out for a while, and asked her to eat first, and then went downstairs and followed the secret guard out of the hotel. The two of them went around a lot of places before entering an ordinary old house. When Yi Huang walked into the old house, Qian Renxu, who had fair skin, long golden hair, and was wearing men's clothes, was sitting at the table sipping tea. Because she was wearing men's clothes, Qian Renxu's beautiful face at this time added a bit of heroic spirit out of thin air. You are here. Sit down. Qian Renxu casually poured a cup of tea and placed it in front of Yi Huang. Should I call you His Royal Highness the Crown Prince or little senior sister? Yi Huang said jokingly. You are free to do whatever you want here, but when you leave this door, you must call me Your Highness the Crown Prince. Qian Renxu, who had regained her appearance, said playfully. I wonder if junior sister has anything to tell me? Yi Huang took a sip of the tea on the table and asked hurriedly. You are Yang Wang's disciple. I want to ask how the poison is being developed. It should be almost finished. It will be in your hands in no time. Oh, I heard that he passed the Holy Sun trial. Well, I passed it by luck some time ago. Junior sister, if you have anything to say, just say it directly. We are not outsiders. Yi Huang obviously saw that Qian Renxu had something to say to him. I came to you this time to tell you that I want to decide my own lifelong happiness. Even the rules of the family cannot restrict my freedom to pursue happiness. Do you understand what I mean? Qian Renxu said the words very tactfully, but Yi Huang had completely understood the meaning of the words. It was nothing more than telling Yi Huang that even though he was now the holy son and the grandson-in-law chosen by Qian Daliu, she, Qian Renxu, still refused to acknowledge Yi Huang as his boyfriend. Well, I understand what you mean. Don't worry, I won't use this identity to entangle you. That's great. Hearing Yi Huang's words, Qian Renxu was relieved. Chapter 72 A handsome man and a beautiful woman. If you need any help in the Tandu Empire, you can also find me. In order to make up for Yi Huang, Qian Renxu said immediately. There is indeed one thing that needs your help. What is it? Yi Lingling is my girlfriend now. You know that I can't stay in the Tandu Empire forever. I want to ask you to help recruit her to your side. Qian Renxu, as the nominal crown prince of the Xingdu Empire, has the right to recruit spirit masters and build her own forces. Letting Yi Lingling follow her, Yi Huang himself will feel at ease. Well, that's no problem. One day, you can ask Sister Lingling to come to the Crown Prince's mansion to find me. Let her live with me in the Crown Prince's mansion, and I will have someone to talk to. But you acted too quickly, Qian Renxu said immediately, although Qian Renxu kept saying that she was afraid that Yi Huang would pester her. When she heard that Yi Huang had no interest in her and found another girlfriend, she didn't say it, but she still felt a little jealous in her heart. Okay, I'll let her find you after a few days. I'd like to thank you for your help, junior sister. Yi Huang sincerely thanked Qian Renxu. Since there's nothing important, I won't bother you, junior sister. My girlfriend is still waiting for me to have dinner at the hotel. Looking at Yi Huang, who left in a hurry, Qian Renxu looked at herself in the mirror and said to herself, "Don't I look good in such a hurry to leave? Husband, why did you come back just now? I thought you left me alone." Looking at Yi Huang, who walked into the room, Yi Lingling threw herself into his arms like a young swallow returning to the nest. Since she was bullied by Yi Huang again early in the morning, she changed her name to Yi Huang to husband. Silly girl, why would I leave you at this time? You must be hungry. Come down quickly, let's eat. Yi Huang casually patted Yi Lingling's elastic buttocks, causing Yi Lingling to act coquettishly again. I don't want to get down, so I don't want to get down. Yi Lingling's slender legs hooked around Yi Huang's strong waist, and she kept twisting her body, making Yi Huang upset. Silly girl, how can you eat if you don't get down? I want my husband to feed me. Okay, I'll feed you. Yi Huang's eyes rolled and he said with a smirk. He picked up a mouthful of food with chopsticks and put it in his mouth. Exclamation mark. You big bad guy only knows how to bully me. Yi Lingling, who had just experienced sex for the first time, had never experienced such a charming feeding, and her face instantly turned red to her neck. Didn't you ask me to feed you? You didn't stipulate how to feed you. I just need to feed the food into your mouth. Yi Huang pretended to look innocent and looked at Yi Lingling. You are right, just feed me. Why do you have to touch me? Yi Lingling asked shyly. Although she really liked this way of feeding, she still pretended to be reserved on the surface. That's because it's too cold, and I want to warm up inside. Haha. Hearing Yi Huang's twisted logic, Yi Lingling couldn't help laughing any longer. A meal ended with you feeding me and me feeding you. Considering that Yi Lingling's body had not recovered yet, the two did not go downstairs. Although Yi Lingling's body had not recovered, once it was night, she had no intention of letting Yi Huang go. She knew in her heart that only during this time, Yi Huang belonged to her. Yi Lingling's body recovered, and the two were unwilling to stay in the hotel all the time. The two walked downstairs arm in arm and went to the front desk to deposit the room fee. Hello, has the old man who came with us gone out? Yi Huang casually asked about Yu Guan's whereabouts. Young master, the master has not come back since he went out the day before yesterday. The auction time had passed, and there were not many customers in the hotel, so the waiters remembered very clearly which guest went downstairs. Where did the second master go? Yu Guan would always tell Yi Huang when he went out to do something, but he had never disappeared for 2 days without any reason. After thinking for a while, Yi Huang didn't think about it anymore. Anyway, with Yu Guan's strength, he didn't have to worry about his safety. Notify me if the master comes back. Yi Huang took out more than a dozen gold soul coins and put them on the table at the front desk without counting them. Please rest assured, as long as the master comes back, I will notify you as soon as possible. Although the waiters in the hotel can occasionally receive tips, there are very few who give out more than a dozen gold soul coins like Yi Huang. Yi Huang hugged Yi Lingling's tender waist, and the two strolled in this prosperous Tandu city. Although Yi Lingling has lived here for 5 years, this is the first time she has appreciated this ancient capital so carefully. Although neither of them is the kind of person who is ostentatious, their excellent temperament and appearance still attract the attention of passers-by. Hey, Isn't this Sister Ling-a-ling? I didn't expect that the icy beauty is also in love. When Yi Huang and Yi Ling-a-ling were enjoying their happy world of two, a whistle accompanied by frivolous words disrupted their good mood. Yi Huang looked up and couldn't help laughing. It's really a narrow road for enemies to meet. The person who came was none other than the fourth Prince Zhu Beng, who was beaten unconscious by him 4 years ago. Zhu Beng, please be respectful and watch your words. I'm not your sister. Your sister is in a brothel. Yi Ling-a-ling's mood was disrupted by Zhu Beng, and her face became extremely ugly. Hey, Sister Ling-a-ling, are you angry and embarrassed because you were caught stealing a man? Zhu Beng's slanderous words burst out of his mouth again. As a person who frequented brothels for many years, how could he not see that Yi Ling-a-ling had lost her virginity? Thinking about how Yi Ling-a-ling was taken advantage of by others, he felt very uncomfortable. Zhu Beng, you bastard, it seems that you don't learn your lesson. It seems that I should have killed you 4 years ago, so that you wouldn't dare to do such evil things all day long. Ever since Zhu Beng came here, his eyes have been on Yi Ling-a-ling. He didn't even look closely at who the man next to Yi Ling-a-ling was. He didn't shift his gaze until he heard Yi Huang's words. Huh? Why do you look familiar to me? Where have I seen you before? You. Good. It turns out to be you. A light suddenly flashed in Zhu Beng's mind. It's really a case of searching for something without any effort. I've been looking for you for 4 years. God has finally let me meet you. Boy, you can't escape today even if you have wings. I must avenge what happened 4 years ago. Chapter 73. The Prince is a Man. Zhu Beng winked at a servant behind him, signaling him to go back to the mansion to get help. The remaining 5 Soul Sect servants also summoned their own martial spirits and surrounded Yi Huang and Yi Ling-a-ling. Every failure is a lesson. Last time, Yi Huang beat him half to death and he didn't get out of bed for more than a month. This time, they learned their lesson and prepared to wait for a large number of troops to arrive, and then use the human wave tactics to capture Yi Huang and torture him severely. Get out of here. Don't disturb me while I'm shopping. How could Yi Huang stay there obediently and wait to be caught? Go ahead, stop him even if you die. Seeing that Yi Huang was guarding Yi Ling-a-ling behind him and preparing to leave by force, Zhu Beng directly ordered the 5 Soul Sects to attack. After receiving Zhu Beng's order, the 5 Soul Sects also rushed to Yi Huang like mad dogs. In their eyes, Yi Huang's soul power was not that high at such a young age. This was the time to show loyalty to the 4th prince. Kill. Seeing that Yi Huang had divided his attention on Yi Ling-a-ling, one of the Soul Sects holding a spear took the lead. He saw the opportunity, shook his spear, and stabbed Yi Huang's heart with a spear flower. 5 whistles. Yi Huang showed a look of contempt on his face, and he didn't even move his body. Seeing Yi Huang who didn't dodge, the face of the Soul Sect with a spear showed a fierce expression. Go to hell. Ding. The expected scene of the spear stained with blood did not appear. Instead, a strong recoil force was transmitted back along the spear, and the spear in the hand of the Soul Sect almost slipped out of his hand. Yi Huang was wearing a dragon scale inner armor. Not to mention such a small Soul Sect, even a Soul King would not be able to pierce his heart. Come here. Yi Huang grabbed the spearhead with his right hand and pulled it hard. The Soul Sect holding the spear was pulled in front of him. Get out. The Soul Sect was kicked out by Yi Huang before he could stand firm. Yi Huang, who was wearing dragon scale inner armor, weighed more than a ton. Under his brute force, the bones of the remaining Soul Masters made a creaking sound and flew out like a kite with a broken string. In a blink of an eye, only Zhu Beng was left at the scene. You, don't come over. Looking at Yi Huang who kept approaching him, Zhu Beng collapsed. Thinking about Yi Huang's cruel methods, his body trembled. I told you last time not to mess with me, but you didn't listen. It seems that the lesson I gave you last time was not enough. Yi Huang crossed his hands and made a crackling sound. I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. Please just treat me like a fart and let me go. I promise I will never bully Yi Ling-a-ling again. Zhu Beng was so scared at this time that his legs were so weak that he knelt directly in front of Yi Huang. Hubby, let's go. Don't bother with such pests. After all, this is the imperial city of the Tandu Empire. Fearing that Yi Huang would suffer, Yi Ling-a-ling quickly grabbed his arm. It's better not to let me meet you. Yi Huang dispersed the murderous aura on his body. This is Tandu City. At most, he would teach Zhu Beng a lesson. There are too many things involved. He didn't want to cause more trouble because of his momentary pleasure, which would affect the plan that the spirit hall had already made. Get out. I'll get out. Get out right now. Hearing that Huang was willing to let him go, Zhu Beng hurriedly got up and prepared to leave. He had secretly made up his mind that he would bring enough people with him when he met Huang, the evil star, again in the future. Huh? I told you to get out, not to leave. Huang couldn't kill Zhu Beng, but it was okay to disgust him. Okay, I'll do it right away. In order to avoid being beaten, this dignified fourth prince of Tandu actually lay on the ground without any scruples and rolled out of Huang's sight. After the avalanche, the two no longer had the mood to hang out. Let's go to the prince's mansion together. Huang thought that he could take care of Yilingling's affairs while he had time. Why go to the prince's mansion? Yilingling asked curiously. You also know that I can't stay in Tandu City forever. I'm afraid that bad people will come to bully you after I leave. So I ask His Royal Highness the Prince to recruit you to his command. After I leave, you can move to the prince's mansion. Husband, I don't want to live in the prince's mansion. Why? I'm your girlfriend now. What's the point of moving into the prince's mansion? Aren't you afraid of gossip? Yilingling asked Huang with a puzzled look on her face. She was also familiar with Zhu King. In the past 4 years, she also helped Yilingling drive away many troublemakers. But after all, there are differences between men and women, and all kinds of rumors will definitely spread over time. Whoever wants to say it, let him say it. Huang's nonchalant look made Yilingling a little angry. Then aren't you afraid that the crown prince will fall in love with me and cheat on you? Haha, I'm not afraid at all. Huang knew that Zhu King was Qian Renxu, so of course he wouldn't worry about this problem. Even if you were the most beautiful woman in the world, the crown prince wouldn't be tempted. You've known him for several years, but have you ever heard of any scandals between him and any beautiful woman? I really haven't heard of that. Yilingling tilted her head and thought carefully for a long time, but she didn't find any scandals between Zhu King and any woman. The crown prince is not young anymore, and he has long passed the age of marriage. I heard that the ministers in the court have advised the crown prince to choose a crown princess for him several times, but he refused them all for various reasons. Is it that he doesn't like women? But a bold idea appeared in Yilingling's mind. You mean the current prince likes men? Well, your little brain is really smart. That's good. Then I'm not afraid of other people gossiping. Yilingling does not reject such a relationship. After all, everyone has different views on love, and everyone has the right to choose to pursue happiness. The prince's mansion is close to the edge of the imperial city. When she heard that Huang was coming, Qian Renxu also hurried out to greet him. Why are you two here? Why didn't you tell me in advance? Greetings to His Royal Highness the Prince. Yilingling was ready to salute when she saw Zhu King coming out, but as soon as she moved, she was pulled up by Huang next to her. Huang's little move did not escape Qian Renxu's eyes. You two came at the right time. I'm also going to eat. Let's go together. Well, how can I be embarrassed? We have already booked a place to eat. Huang originally wanted to agree, but he had to refuse when he felt Yilingling's hint on his arm. Ever since Yilingling guessed that Zhu King was a homosexual, he was a little afraid that he would snatch Huang from him. The two of them took the recruitment documents that had already been prepared for Yilingling from Qian Renxu, and walked out of the prince's mansion without any hesitation. Chapter 74 Jugubo appears. Yilingling's safety problem was solved, and the biggest stone in Huang's heart fell to the ground. In the next month, the two practiced during the day, strolled around Tandu City to enjoy the beautiful scenery in the afternoon, studied new moves at night, and did those shameless things. The life was very comfortable. The only thing that Huang couldn't let go was that his second master Guan had never come back since he went out that day. Another afternoon, Huang and Yilingling returned to the hotel after enjoying the beautiful scenery. As soon as the two walked into the hotel lobby, the waiter inside stopped Huang. Master, the master just sent a letter. Where is it? Bring it quickly. Hearing the news about Guan, Huang's heart was so excited. He hadn't seen Guan these days, and he was still very worried, but for safety reasons, He waited until he returned to the room to open the letter. There was only a few words written on the letter. Be sure to leave Tandu City tomorrow afternoon. There will be a car to pick you up. When everything is fine. Although there were only a few words, Huang felt a sense of crisis that he had never felt before, because there was a special mark of Yuguan on it. Huang did not doubt the authenticity of the letter. When Huang read the letter, Ling was also beside him. When she saw the message on it, her face gradually dimmed. She knew that this day would come sooner or later, but she did not expect that this day would come so soon and so suddenly. So she did not let Huang sleep all night, and squeezed him as much as she could. This also indirectly led to the two of them getting up at noon the next day. The two settled the room fee and walked hand in hand slowly towards Qian Renxu's prince's mansion. The road that seemed very far before, but today it felt close to the outside, and it felt like it was not long before they arrived at the gate of the prince's mansion. Remember to come back to see me. Ling looked at Huang, who had taken her first time, affectionately. Well, I will. I'll come to see you as soon as I have time. Huang stretched out his right hand to tidy up Ling's hair that was messed up by the wind, and said softly, make a pinky promise, make a pinky promise, make a pinky promise and don't change it for 100 years. Okay, it's windy outside, let's go. And quickly, a carriage stopped beside Huang, and he knew he had to leave. No, I want to watch you get on the carriage like I did 4 years ago. Seeing that it was already afternoon, Huang didn't dare to waste time and hurriedly got on the carriage. Well, take care of yourself. Take this, eat well, drink well, and don't wrong yourself. Huang stuffed the fun card into Ling's hand, turned around and stepped onto the carriage, walked into the carriage, and just like last time, looked at Ling waving from the rear window of the carriage until he could no longer see her. The sadness of parting lingered in his heart, and he didn't realize something was wrong until the carriage left Tandu City. The carriage was not heading back to Wuhan City, but towards the Sunset Forest. Huang remembered the instructions in Yuguan's letter and did not panic, but just in case, he took out the half-moon scimitar from the soul guide and placed it beside him. Even when sleeping at night, he remained half awake and half asleep. Whoa! A roar of horses came, and Huang felt the carriage shake for a while, and then it stopped moving. Huang heard the movement and quickly opened the curtains of the carriage to check what was going on. The driver and the horseman turned purple, and black blood flowed from their nostrils. An old man with green hair, green eyes, and wearing green soft armor stood not far from the carriage, exuding a cold breath. Are you Huang? I am Huang. I wonder why you intercepted my carriage, injured my driver, and destroyed my horse. Huang had already guessed the identity of this old man. Among all Buo, only poisoned Buo Jugubo was dressed in green. But he didn't know whether his second master Yuguan was always guarding him, so he could only pretend to be polite and delay time. Boy, don't delay time. Someone asked me to take action. If you know what's good for you, take the knife in your hand and cut your own throat, and you can also leave a complete body. The hoarse voice came out of Jugubo's mouth again. Old poison, you want to kill my apprentice? Have you asked Yuguan's opinion? As soon as Jugubo finished speaking, Huang's familiar voice came from not far away. Then, Huang felt a wave flashing by the side, and a ghostly figure appeared in front of him. Second master, third master, you are here? Huanger, please step back a little. Let's deal with this old poison first, and then we can talk. Okay, third master is good at fighting. I will retreat immediately. Huang took out the detoxification pill that had been prepared long ago from the soul guide and stuffed it into his mouth. As soon as his legs stepped onto the carriage, he ran 100 meters away in a few bounces. He still had self-knowledge. Although Jugubo was jokingly called the floor of the titled Buo, he was not someone that a small soul master like him could provoke. When Huang left, Jugubo did not step forward to intercept him. He was now surrounded by Yuguan and Gui Mai, and staying alive was the most important problem he had to face now. Old poison, surrender. As long as you promise to go to the spirit hall, the two of us will never embarrass you. Yuguan, who had fought with poison Buo many times, made the final exhortation. Old chrysanthemum, We are not on the same page. I am just not used to the rules of the spirit hall. I would rather die without my freedom. Old rules. Let's fight, Jugubo said, and he flew into the air, summoned his own spirit, the Jade Phosphorus Snake King, and directly displayed his spirit body. A green snake about 30 meters long with a snake pill in its mouth appeared in front of everyone. Since Jugubo had made a decision, Yuguan and Gui Mai did not waste any more words, and lit up their spirit skills and blasted towards Jugubo. Jugubo's spirit skills are basically poison-attributed spirit skills, but for spirit masters at the level of Title Buo, it is difficult for poison to break through others' defense. In a one-on-one situation, poisoned Buo can still hold on, but now with the joint efforts of the two titles, he quickly fell behind. Seeing that he was defeated, Jugubo also retreated while fighting to the central area of the Sun and Moon Forest behind him. There are many spirit masters in the Sun and Moon Forest looking for spirit rings. Fearing that Jugubo would be desperate and release a large area of poisonous soul skills to hurt innocent people, Yuguan and Gaimai did not dare to push him too hard. Seeing Yuguan and Gaimai chasing quickly into the Sunset Forest, Huang did not hesitate and quickly spread his legs and hurriedly searched along the traces of the battle. Fortunately, the aura of the titled Buo released by the three people frightened the surrounding soul beasts, so Huang could run safely in the Sun and Moon Forest without any scruples. Chapter 75 You are sick and need treatment. After 2 hours of non-stop running, with a stench coming towards them, a large area covered by poisonous gas gradually appeared in front of Huang. Yuguan and Gui Mai flew over the poisonous gas, constantly searching, with ugly expressions on their faces. Looking at the thick poisonous gas in front of him, Huang's heart was pounding non-stop. He secretly guessed that this might be the location of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, one of the three treasures of Buo continent. Huang, why are you here? It's too dangerous here. Seeing Huang running over, the two hurriedly fell from mid-air to the ground. Two masters. Where is Jugubo? The old guy ran into this poison formation. Your third master and I went down to look for him but couldn't find him, Yuguan said with an ugly face. The two of them wanted to capture Jugubo alive, but they didn't expect him to successfully escape into the poison formation and hide. Second master, take me to the sky. I have a way to make him come out obediently. Okay, Yuguan directly clamped Huang with his arms, and the two flew over the poison array. Huang took a look and knew why Yuguan and Gui Mai, two title Buo, did not find Jugubo. In fact, this poison array has been managed by Jugubo for many years, and the coverage is too wide. It is really not easy to find a person. If you want to destroy this poison array, it is also very difficult. Huang asked Yuguan to try it just now. With a soul skill, the poison gas was instantly dispersed, but before the two people got close, the poison gas that had just been dispersed gathered together again, as if nothing had happened. In addition, the terrain inside the poison array is complicated. If Jugubo hides in it and restrains his soul power, there is really no way to deal with him. Old poison creature, you are a title, come out and fight if you have the guts. Yuguan tried to anger Jugubo with words and force him to show up. Old chrysanthemum, do you think I'm a fool? What do you mean by a duel? I'm challenging you two alone? Jugubo's mocking voice floated out from the poison array. Ghost Buo flashed and appeared at the place where the voice came from, but he didn't see Jugubo. You two old guys don't have to bother with it. My poison array has a soul guide that can transfer the sound. If you want to find my location through the sound, there is one at the door. Jugubo had already guessed Yuguan's plan and said fearlessly. Jugubo's words made Yuguan and Gui Mai's faces become more and more ugly. Two masters, don't be angry. Watch how I get him out. Huang, do you have a way? Hearing Huang's words, a glimmer of surprise suddenly flashed on their faces. I have a way, both masters, just keep an eye on it. Senior Jugubo, I saw your face was gloomy just now. I'm afraid you were poisoned. As long as you are willing to surrender, I have a way to detoxify you. A dragon gives birth to a dragon, a phoenix gives birth to a phoenix, and a mouse's son knows how to dig holes. You followed these two old guys, and you didn't learn anything else, but you learned the essence of talking nonsense. Haha, my title is poison, but you said I was poisoned. What a joke. It's possible, with Jugubo's status as a titled Duo, there was no need for him to explain. He was now anxious to excuse himself. And it was obvious that Huang had hit a sore spot. Oh, really not? Then let me ask you, when it was cloudy and rainy, did you feel numbness and itchiness in your ribs? Every time in the middle of the night, do you feel a needle-like pain on the top of your head and your heart? After these two sentences, Jugubo at the bottom of the valley was silent again. Huanger, this old guy doesn't want to pay attention to you. Don't worry, second master. He will come out soon. Then Huang shouted at the poison array again. Senior Jugubo, you are now terminally ill. It is better to get treatment as soon as possible. Even if you give up, you can't let your children and grandchildren suffer with you. That's it. Think about it yourself. If you figure it out, come to Wuhan City to find me. I welcome you anytime. Two masters, let's go. Huang gave Yuguan and Gaimai a look, and the three turned around and flew out of the Sun and Moon Forest. Huang concluded that Jugubo would show up not for himself, but for his precious granddaughter Juguyan. Wait, my friend, please stay. Sure enough, before the three of them walked far, the poison gas in the poison array surged, and Jugubo's figure appeared above the poison array. He had no choice. The symptoms Huang described were exactly what he was experiencing every day. This was his biggest secret, and even his dearest granddaughter didn't know. If it was just him, he would not show up even if he died. But he still has a granddaughter. Jugubo's son died because of such symptoms, and he certainly didn't want his granddaughter to follow in his footsteps. Do you really have a way to cure the poison in my body? Jugubo put aside his face and stared at Huang excitedly, fearing that he would miss something. I have a way. Why should I believe you? Why should I prove it to you? Hee. Do you have any choice now? It's you who died, not me. Treat it if you want, and get out if you don't. Anyway, you are a dying person, and the spirit hall won't care. Huang has now taken the initiative, and of course he will not be angry with Jugubo anymore. Hearing Huang's tough words, Jugubo's face was fierce. The title cannot be insulted, and he was taught a lesson by a kid who could be his grandson. How could he bear this anger? But when he thought that his granddaughter would be tortured and die like his son in a few years, the anger in his heart quickly receded. How sure are you? About 90%. The herbs I need are hard to find. Huang did not say anything final, lest Jugubo had doubts again. Okay, I'll trust you once. I have some herbs in this valley, see if you can use them. Jugubo felt that his health was getting worse and worse, and each attack of the poison was getting longer and longer, so he decided to take a gamble. Oh, if you can find some herbs here, it would save a lot of time. Hearing Jugubo's words, Huang felt that his heart was about to jump out. His main purpose was still for the fairy grass in the eyes of the ice and fire. It was really not that important to him whether Jugubo joined the spirit hall or not. Please go in, everyone. Since he had already made a decision, Jugubo did not hesitate. He waved his right hand, and a passage that allowed several people to pass through appeared in front of everyone. At the moment the poison array was opened, a spiritual energy that was twice as dense as the outside of the Sun and Moon Forest suddenly gushed out from it. Such a rich spiritual energy. Looking at the shocked expressions of Yuguan and Guimai, a hint of pride appeared on Jugubo's face. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.